and
Will's
doing
a
other
lot
stuff
shorter
before
than
that.
you,
So,
but you'd be an inspiration for him. That would be cool.
had a little health scare, ended up in the hospital, almost died. So, I had to make some life changes.
And you've done all that in the last 2 years?
26 months, yeah.
Nice.
That's pretty impressive, huh?
You know, it's always funny when I meet somebody who does that, and I'm like, I got this 7 pounds. I'm like, wake the fuck up. Get rid of, do your
Yeah,
stuff.
well, like the OCD inside of me wants to see a 1 in front of it. So I've been killing myself to get to that point for like the last 6 months. And I just can't do it.
204?
Yeah, I just can't get there. I get like to 201 and then balloon back up to 209.
And we had the same conversation with our friend Will. He hadn't seen a 2 in a long time.
Yeah.
So just seeing a 2 at the beginning was like,
you carry a lot of
monumental.
water weight, and I go to the gym 4 or 5 days a week. So when you're working out like that, you're tearing muscle, and then that creates water weight. So you go fluctuate a lot throughout the week.
Hey, before I forget it, me and Larry were talking before you got here. You know, Carrick's getting $500 to the winner of the Giving Day, KSU Giving Day. We thought about doing $250. We've got over $1,500 in the bank.
Well, and you know, this is just me, and I meant to call you guys. I was actually going to do a call a few days ago. We should make $500 a month.
Should.
And I know it's a should. I know how all that works. But hypothetically, if we make $500 on Giving Day, we should go hundo to baseball, football, track
Larry
and
made the
field.
point earlier that we don't want to leave any teams out. So let's just.
Okay, so then we do 50.
That's exactly what Larry said.
But for somebody who's never even seen us yet, softball's never gotten anything.
Hello.
Actually, we had softball a few weeks ago. But
Hello.
Yeah, no, I mean, that was one thing, is we can't favor one team, one sport over another.
well, we already do by giving golf $500 5 months ago. Clearly, they're ahead of women's lacrosse.
Special projects.
Oh, I don't disagree with you, but I'm just saying, for a day like today, we should be able to give $50, 50, hundo, whatever the case is, and you know it's.
Well, we'll ask
$500.
Carrick. How about that? Say, listen, we're either going to give $50 a team, or we'll give $250 to the winner, just like you're doing, and see which one he goes for.
$250 to the winner,
To the team that raises the most money.
But we already know that's one of 2 teams. That's the part that isn't a
Yeah, but we
fair-
haven't given anything to the football team at all.
What if we did this? What if we were to give, in that whole list, right?
Mm-hmm.
Give $50 each to the 5 losing teams, the last 5.
like it. Yeah,
Not the
whoever
winners.
gets the least amount of money on Giving Day, we'd like to give you a little bit. I think that's a great idea.
All right, well, yeah, let's talk over to Carrick, but I don't see anything wrong with that.
Sure, no, absolutely.
I have
think
no
that's
problem.
A great idea.
We have sponsors that pay us $100 a month to be on the show, and you'll hear the commercials and stuff. That we do.
Nice.
But we don't keep any of it.
We don't keep any of it, so we might.
We give it all back to the school.
All the KSU.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So did my Newt Rockney speech text on Saturday night inspire you to watch the whole thing?
No.
You just go, shut the hell up.
Well, it was funny. I did my taxes Sunday morning, and Steve walked in to look them over for me, and he said, "You don't have on the match?" I said, "I can't do it." And finally, he convinced me to turn it on about when Rory was on the 4th hole. So he was now back in front again. I didn't even know he had double bogeyed one.
He tried to give that away on Sunday.
Every time I turned on my TV, like, okay, he's up by 4, I can watch it. And then when he hit the ball in water on the 13, I turned it off. And I went upstairs and kept up with it on my computer. And then when he hit the tee shot on 18, I said, well, all he's going to do is chip up and shoot putt, and he'll win. And when he missed a putt, I turned it off again. And I went upstairs. I'm just going to watch the
I was
rest of it on my
driving up
computer.
the interstate listening to it on Sirius XM, so it's Mike Tirico instead of Jim Nance, which I love Tirico. But when he hit the shot on 17, and he's like, get up, you could really hear it on the radio. There's nothing blocking that. It was almost like Thor had this in his back pocket as he was walking up. It was so loud. What a shot! Here it is.
Something
4
burning.
feet,
You smell
3
like something
feet.
electric burning or something?
I do like Tirico. There's a lot of those people I just don't like anymore on ESPN. But
I don't know, but if
do
it's
like
the Masters, you got to listen to Nance. So
Tirico's
Unless
good.
you're driving down the road.
Unless you're
Jim
driving down
Nance
the
is
road.
so classic, though. I love Jim Nance.
Wasn't he getting ready to stop doing something?
10 years, I think.
He
is what
announced
we
that he's
figured
doing
out.
his last broadcast will be the 2036 Masters. I got to look. I might do something different.
You're going to do something different?
I might.
What do you think, Sean?
Any specials this month or?
Just the usuals, the Big Easy pasta.
They got lemon pepper today? They got lemon pepper today?
We should, yeah.
Let me do lemon pepper wings. Then.
Ranch.
Huh?
Ranch.
Yeah.
Philly cheesesteak.
I was looking. I was looking at it. I'll go ahead and go with it.
But you do know I get drunk.
I do no onion. Meat and cheese only. Meat and cheese only.
And what do you want to do for the side?
Broccoli. I'm gonna kid myself into thinking that I could lose the extra 7 pounds I want to. Baby steps.
I was talking to my roommate from college today. He does like gasket install and repair up in Virginia. And so he drives around all the time with me. And I talk to him every 6 or 7 months. And he's going this and the other. He was like, my wife has lost her job since the last time I talked to you. Ever since they had their kid 5 years ago, she's been clinically depressed. Doesn't want to leave the house, this, that, the other. It's like, she's just getting bigger, and, my job, my boss is running the company in the ground, so I'm looking for something new. I can't find anything.
Now, you went to Georgia, didn't you?
And because
For
See,
2
people
years,
that
yep.
went to Georgia, I get them pulling for Georgia.
this 20-minute tire, and it's like,
Terry College of Business.
Carrick went there too. Carrick Martin, the guy we're talking about. Carrick is his dad was my econ professor at Kennesaw Junior College. And,
Those types
6
of
months into
conversations
this
are
show,
never easy.
we had him on because I want to find out what was going on at Kennesaw State. He's in the Hall of Fame with the sponsor of over there.
My son's
came up
cool.
to us after and said, "Man,
Yeah.
you
No.
fantastic."
It's very
Would you
difficult.
consider
I had a
doing something
conversation.
all about
I'm
Kennesaw State?
going through early stages right now.
So we've been doing that for 2.5 years.
And haven't lived at home for the last 2 months. And but an old friend will call me on the phone and be like, say, "Hey man, well, guess I met, I was hanging out with LeBron. I had dinner. So how you been? Well, I'm okay. I'm staying in my dad's spare bedroom." well, that's positive, right? That's pretty cool. Yeah, I like it a lot.
Hey, Sean, can I get some club soda? I sucked through this Gatorade today. Not now. Just, that's fine. He's a great guy. And he almost left one time, didn't he? Or he did leave. He came
What did
back.
this place used to be?
Used to be California Dreaming.
California Dreaming. That's
Yeah.
for the life of me, could not put it together.
Yeah. You're too hot to begin with, and you throw that on, and then you're like, doing that whole librarian.
Thanks, man.
Nobody's doing any of that. That's all in your head.
Okay, well,
That sounds like you need to go talk to a therapist.
I do. His name's Chuck
His name's Chuck.
or Sean.
So I wound up in the top 10% at the Masters thing.
I never filled it out, but I still got to believe that I was way the hell up there. I had Deschambeau. I had the best rookie.
Yeah, but you had one guy that didn't even make the cut.
Correct, but if you have 4 guys that are in the top 12, probably above a lot of other things.
Yeah, I only had one guy that was over par. My rookie was 1 over for the tournament, but Max Homa was 4 under.
And you know what's funny about it?
Yeah.
And now, I always pick the same people.
Yeah.
Justin Rose is one of my people. I've picked him like 1,000 times.
Good thing you didn't pick
So
Koepka.
the last time they had an over, or they had to go to like sudden death, was in 2018, and it was him, and he's the one
Justin
who
Rose
lost.
and Sergio.
Correct.
He
So
lost
how
surgery.
disappointing is that you had sudden death holes twice in your career to win the Masters and you lose both of them?
Not to mention the fact that if you were at a U.S. Open, you'd play 18. You know, so many different
Well,
rules for all
Well,
those
they would
things.
have played 18 if they would have tied to 18 that day.
That one
one
was
hole.
one hole.
If they tied, then they play 18 on Monday.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that. I thought they would just do another hole.
That's what I
They're
thought.
going to play 3.
No, that's the week before. One hole, and if you don't win, you play 18 on Monday.
Wow.
Because that's what they talked about in the post-round interview. He said that, what's his caddy's name? Said, we're going to win if we have a playoff tomorrow, right? He said, yep. He said, well, then we might as well go ahead and do it now. Yeah. Harry, is that his caddy's name?
I don't know. What a good gig to be a caddy. I mean, you got to walk a lot, which is okay. A little healthy.
That's not
Very
an easy
bad.
course
Got
to
some
walk.
decent shoulders
they know
on
every
you.
square inch of those.
10%.
They know every square inch of those screens though, and everything.
You know, when they're standing there and
nuts.
they're like, it'll be 66.5 yards before that incline.
Yeah.
And a half? You've got a foot and a half. You're standing that far away, and you literally know it's a yard and a half different. It's amazing.
Oh, we need to do a sound check, Lick.
Yeah, give me a minute. I want to, if you want to take your speakers back,
Yep.
I can't. Every one of these TVs has Bluetooth.
Hello, 1, 2.
Connect
Put your headphones on, Tim, see if you can hear me.
with my device.
Because there's so many.
Yeah, 2 things.
I gotcha.
I have a device that'll do one, so I'll just use the 2 I've got.
Yeah, actually, let me run them out now.
Check 1, 2.
I can hear you,
I can hear you.
and I heard him too.
Yeah.
And get it to work great at home.
The time goes by so quickly.
Doing this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you think you're talking a lot, but between commercials and all that stuff and everybody running their mouths, you talk about 10 minutes. And it's fun.
I gotta look some of this stuff up so I can participate. I meant to do that earlier.
Pitch upstairs, ball 1 to Wade.
Right now, as a pitcher, you forget about the scouting report, what the hitter's weakness is. Matthew Boyd, right now, what can you do for a strikeout?
Here's a 1. Right now, 7 double, throwing everything for a strike.
He'll drop down once in a while to get a left-handed hitter out there. He did that there. Last ball for a strike.
And that's a base hit out into right field. Diaz not stopping, making his way to third, and they're at the corner.
Can I see that pen for a second?
Sure.
Thought you were. Thought you were 55.
Huh?
What you have to eat?
Wings.
12 sets.
12. There's like $9.99 today.
That's special. Robert Cat,
I think I heard him say
Yeah,
that's a Philadelphia
Philly
cheesesteak.
Philly cheesesteak
Yeah.
and broccoli.
I just need the basic. We need to keep it running.
Gotcha. Yeah. Gotcha.
They said anything. They told
I
her
haven't said anything, but I just
we want to be ahead of the game.
on my agenda, so
I think when we told Bill that we were going to do the coaching show, he got all excited about it because he sent out an email about it.
Yeah, well, I think, yeah.
You know, we talked about Adam too. Once he stopped ordering food, I think that was the issue.
Yeah, I think that was the main issue. Okay, you want to do the sound check real quick?
Huh?
You want to do the sound check real quick?
Tim and I were fine, but we'll do it with you.
Do it again because I had everything way up.
I'm fine right now. It sounds good.
I can hear you.
And Tim, can you hear Tim, Larry?
Yep. Okay.
All right, we're good. We have a guy that's an intern that shows up. What is that? I can put my eyes on so I can see.
Nico is going to UCLA.
Oh, what's he saying now?
This is Colin Coward saying that Nico Maliva is going to UCLA. Family still claims it's not about money, even though it's about money. You know it's bad. Tulane, I guess Tulane gave him a pretty good offer, and then he asked for more money, and they said, "No, we're good."
Yeah. I'm going to walk up to sunrise service at the mountain Sunday morning. If you'll walk up there with me.
Going up to Kennesaw?
Yeah.
Top of it?
I'll walk up there. Leave my house about 6:30. Service starts at 7, 7:15. Listen, turn around, come home.
Yeah, such a weird. So Stormy wants everybody to get together and have dinner as a family. Yeah, that's probably not going to happen. And for Christmas, she gave me a 5-game Braves package, and it includes 2 tickets for Easter. It's like, all right.
Oh, those two. Oh, they play here on Easter. That's right. They play the Twins.
Yep. So probably going to go to the game with my daughter on Sunday.
Kevin's coming home Friday, but I don't know how much time I'll get to see him. I got time.
How are you, Smiley? Isn't a reverse mullet kind of like Cousin It?
He's going to do the wraparound beard.
Amen was ahead of his time. I'm sure, yeah.
So the girls have gone cold on me again. They were supposed to come on tonight. Told me 2 weeks ago, we can't make it, but we can do it in 2 weeks. I said, okay. So I texted them. I hadn't heard back from them. But Josiah's coming tonight.
Our guy who's never played a game but has been on the show 19 times.
Yeah.
And gotten us other people.
He may bring somebody with him. The starting center for the football team. We need that.
You don't want the March Madness tournament?
Just in case we need to look something up. So I put number 1 on here. It's Farrell, number 4 on Brent's. I told him when it comes to 4th pick, when it comes to 1st pick, pick those. But I think we could have made a good move on Farrell, huh?
Who's number 4?
Patriots.
Oh, Brent?
Yeah.
Okay.
Party in the front. No, business. Wait, what did he say? I don't even know what his career. That's so.
Where you going, Larry? Oh, you turning the light off.
How are you, sir?
Good. How we all doing?
We're good.
Boo, 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 boo. Robert Donor Brock his pretty face.
No, it's actually really bright when it's right there. It's like,
Yeah, is it?
yeah. And my pretty face. Yep, it's a good thing we did this earlier. I don't have anything. La 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 la. la.
Really?
Now I am. Okay, there we go.
Fa la 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 la.
Fa ra 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 ra.
Oh, yeah, I was here. Rah, 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 rah.
No, no, no. Fa ra 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 ra.
There he is. The man, the myth, the legend.
That's him.
I just went by the baseball stadium and took pictures.
Looking good.
I'll show you in between shows.
I saw a post the other day with a couple standing there, and there was all sorts of digging going on. I didn't know what it was.
I don't know.
Larry, while we're talking, you may want to discuss with Carrick what we're talking about on it while we're doing the show. But then again, maybe we should give money to the football teams since we're going to be doing the. Well, we'll give some between now and then. Yeah.
Yeah, we could. Well, I don't know that. However you want to do it, but I mean, if you really wanted to, we could give money the first day of the coaches show.
Yeah.
By the way, we just wanted to let you know.
We're happy to have you here.
Yep.
And here's your check for $14.86.
What? Go get some guys out of the portal. Here's $4.
We cleaned out the couch cushions for you.
There you go.
I saw Coach Petway today. He's still looking for one more player out of the portal.
Petway. Saw we signed a few football players this week.
Yeah, Coach Blue was showing one player out of the portal around campus today.
Be interesting if they had like posts and they're like, Coach wants you to donate today. We've got somebody on campus.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Miller's Ale House. It's a wonderful, another beautiful Wednesday, and it's time for Three Guys Who Love Sports, the show that supports guys that are going through mental and physical issues, and we can help take their mind off what they're going through for an hour a week, and you help them too, and they help each other, and everybody helps one another.
And
This
you tell
world will
two
be a better
friends,
place.
and you tell two friends,
Exactly.
and so on, and so on, and so on.
That's from, what's that commercial from? Something on TV. I
Yeah,
remember
it was like a L'Oreal hair products, I think.
Yeah, something like
it
that.
was a hair product.
Yeah. All right, my name's Chuck Birds, here with my co-host, Mr. Robert Kinney. Robert, how are you, buddy?
I'm reminiscing in 1970s commercialism.
That was a great song, Reminiscing. Little River Band,
Little
right?
River Band.
Yep. All right, cool. Happy to be here today. We said it's another beautiful day at Miller's Ale House. Going to get me some chicken wings. Can't wait. Lemon pepper. You went Philly cheesesteak?
I went Philly cheesesteak. I would say I went Philly cheesesteak because I'm so incredibly slow at trying to decide.
And Sean made the decision for you?
Sean kind of suggested and pushed me in that moment. I just went with it.
Yeah. And Larry, what did you get? Back to the calamari.
I mentioned it last week, and now he's back.
Larry, the squid, Jack Nicholson goes with calamari. All right.
Hey, friends.
All right. We're going to get on with the show, but first, let's start with the Don Smith commercial.
Don Smith.
Oh,
he a
yeah,
friend?
that's you.
Is
No,
he a-
Ron Smith. Ron Smith. I got an ex-brother-in-law named Don Smith. I keep wanting to say that.
Making preparations for when you're not around anymore is not easy. Nobody likes to think about their own mortality, and we can talk about it next week. Doesn't always fit into the big picture. And that's why you should contact our friend Ron Smith at Senior Life Insurance. Whether you're being buried or cremated, costs keep going up, but you can lock in a price today and take this final expense off your to-do list. Do your loved ones a favor and take care of your final expense so that when your time does come knocking, they won't have to worry about it. If you're age 1 to 85, are you 1 to 85, Chuck?
Somewhere in between.
There we go.
yes.
That's good. They have a plan ready for you. So please contact Ron and his team at 440-561-0758.
What number was that?
The big one on the screen, 440-561-0758.
And thank you, Ron, for being a sponsor of the show. And I'm much closer to one of them than I am the other.
I don't need to know which.
I think you do. So we have a first-time guest here, Mr. Tim Davis. Tim, welcome. Listen to that crowd.
Thank you, guys.
They love you, buddy. Listen to that. That's unbelievable.
Appreciate the invite.
Hey, you got to love it when the guy shows up with his own mob.
Entourage.
That was bigger than an entourage. Entourage is like 3 guys in the background clapping. Or
So mob is more than entourage.
Yeah,
I always
yeah,
wondered
yeah.
about the numbering system in that regard.
Yeah, that's kind of one of those things. That's like talking about somebody and saying a few, and people go, "Is that 2?" No, a couple is 2. A few is 3 or more. Clearly.
All right, so we obviously the biggest news story of the week is the Masters. For me, it was not only the greatest Masters, it was not only the greatest golf event, it was probably one of the great sports events I've ever seen in my life. For many, many reasons. Rory obviously has been through the mill over the last 11 years trying to get this done. Had to be taxing on him, and he said so in his post tournament press conference. He said it was just, I didn't know if I was ever going to get this jacket on. I just didn't know if I ever was. And he said, I came back and tried and tried and tried and tried and tried. And he said it best. He said when he wept on the green, it was more of relief than it was anything else, than it was joy. He said it became joy, but it was certainly just a great release of everything that had been pinned up into him for 14 years, really.
Well, when you think about how good the guy is, obviously one of the best ever. And to know that it really doesn't matter if you win 9 tournaments a year. It's only can you win this one. It puts so much pressure on that one. Not to mention it's a tough one. So definitely kudos to him for getting the monkey off his back. I heard the one stat that said, Jack got his lifetime in 1965.
Yep.
So if you're 60 years or younger, this is only the second time in your life
somebody get the Grand Slam
who's won the career Grand Slam. So yeah, I mean, it's incredible, and hats off to him.
Yeah, and I literally watched every interview, every congratulations. I probably spent 10 hours reading all the thank you stuff.
Couldn't
about
watch
Roy.
the first 4 holes on Sunday, but by God, you watched everything else.
Once he won, I was all over it. I was so upset. I just couldn't handle it, especially with DeChambeau and mix. Robert, they know how much I hate LIV golf. So anybody but LIV.
And probably never a DeChambeau guy before he went LIV.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not to mention your other favorite out there was Patrick Reed.
Please.
Rory did the best to try and give that away, though, on Sunday.
He
Multiple
did, but
times.
He said it was the most nervous he's ever been playing golf.
You could tell his.
Which I could tell.
You could tell his play style, and trying to let it up on was it 13, 14? 13. When he tried to do the conservative thing and let it up, and it ended up in the water anyway. So it was just.
What was the right thing to do? I mean, to play at a 3-shot hole, and that shot he said was down in a swell, and he said typically when he does that and he's hitting uphill, he tends to push it a little bit to the left. So he played a little bit right, and he hit it right. That's when I just lost it. I mean, literally, my heart just sank. I wanted this so bad. Tim, you don't know that my oldest son, is 2 days younger than Rory. So I've always followed Rory and always been a big fan of his. And I was so happy that he got this done. And I can't even imagine how it's going to help him going forward.
There's no monkey anymore. Once again, the guy's been dominating around the world. It's just in one little part of the state of Georgia that he couldn't. So gotta be a huge relief. And when he flies into an area, everybody just wanting to wave. Princess waved to everybody. He can only go up from here.
But I thought the reaction was truly genuine, didn't you? I don't think he was scripted. I don't think he thought it out beforehand.
No, and going back to what you guys were saying about him trying to give it away, you could tell. And unlike all the other sports, when you're playing baseball, the umpire tells you got to get in the box, so the guy's got to throw it, right? And in golf, you get all this extra time if you hold on, let me throw some more grass up in the air. You could tell on 18 when he had that one-stroke lead that he was trying not to overthink it, and almost. And once again, I'm a hacker, so don't try to misinterpret what I'm saying about a guy who's won a lifetime Grand Slam, but he was rushing it. You could tell he didn't want to stand over the putts for too long. He didn't want to stand. Hey, I've done this shot 1,000 times. Let me just do it one more time. And when he missed it on 18, I was like, I was thinking about you, Chuck.
I'm sure you were.
Everybody else that was there watching was the same reaction. Just unbelievable that he missed
I was
that
dying. And if you saw the review, the clips of his home course in Hollywood, North Ireland, of everybody watching,
Right.
and they just erupted. I mean, when it happened, I literally cried. I don't cry much at sporting events, but I cried for Rory. I was so happy. Robert, I've been talking about this for 3 or 4 years now, as long as I've known you, and
I think the day we met, you started talking to me about Rory.
Yeah, but I mean, congrats, Roy. But there was a lot that went on this weekend. I wanted Bernhard Langer to make the cut so badly, and he missed the putt on the last hole to miss that. Fred Couples made the unbelievable eagle on 14. That was pretty amazing.
Boom, boom.
And thought he was going to make the cut, and they both failed. Now, there were some great moments for me other than that, like Brooks Koepka shooting an 8 on the very last hole to miss the cut because he was 1 over, and the cut was like +2, and he shot an 8 and wound up 5 over. That thrilled me. Mickelson, the same way. He put 2 in the drink.
And let me give it hats off to what's the guy, Aberg?
Ludwig Oberg.
Oberg. Knowing that he had to hole out. It's real easy when you're getting your second place check is 600 grand. Third place, you're getting 300 grand. So it'd be real easy to say, hey, I'm just going to play this as a par 4. I'm going to put a great score in, and we're going to go from there. But to have the cojones to say, hey, I want to win this thing, so I'm going to go for it. And of course, what did he do? He put it in the bunker and then hit that bunker shot over this bunker shot.
Had a very rough 18th hole.
But only because he went for the impossible. And so I love people who go for the impossible. Like I said, he could have aimed for the middle of the fairway in the middle of the green and
cost himself a couple $100,000.
Absolutely, but he gained one fan out of it. I don't know what this.
Well,
Oberg
probably
came
better
in
off
second.
with
a couple $100,000.
He came in second last year.
Correct.
Yeah, so he's been there, and I think he'll win it. I mean, it would be fine with me going forward if Scotty puts a jacket. If Rory puts a jacket on Scotty next year, Scotty puts it on Oberg, Oberg puts it on Rory puts it on Scotty, and they just do a little loop, and I'd be fine with that.
So if he wins it next year, who puts it on him next year?
Fred Ridley, the chairman.
The chairman of the
or either he'll put it on himself. Yeah. But Roy said in his post-game
just
interview,
walks up with it already on and just
Roy said, I hope next year to be putting the jacket back on myself. And it could happen. I
Put
mean,
on 2 jackets.
The monkey's off the back now. Yeah.
Once
like
again,
you said,
he is done just such a difficult spot to be in for so long.
Yeah.
The idea that he has not crumbled over the last 11 years while trying for this, because every time something happens at the Masters, he probably doesn't really feel it in the Scottish Open anymore. These other tournaments are like it's like a punch card.
Yeah, and the coverage was so good. And Tim and I were talking yesterday at Wake Up KBA. Tim saw a documentary about Jim Nantz talking about the things that he shouldn't say on the air. Isn't that right, Tim?
It was crazy. I didn't realize that. I mean, you knew watching it every year at the Masters, you can always tell when Jim Nantz is up there announcing that they use different terminology, that they don't do it like the U.S. Open or the Players' Championship. And in his interview, he's talking about words that are banned, that they're not allowed to say on air
for the Masters.
And that how when he first started, he didn't. I mean, he was told, but you forget because you do it every single week. And he did it, and he got reprimanded from the network for it and from Augusta National for it. they're not allowed to say the word fans on TV because they said that
Patrons.
It's too close to fanatics, and it's
Which
a
is
negative
what it's short for.
connotation. Yeah, and then you're supposed to say patrons, and you're not allowed to say the back nine because it's has some connotation to somebody's backside, talking about their butt, and they don't want it to be like that.
Sounds like they came up with this list in 1902.
Yeah.
All right, another thing we don't want to ever do.
Yeah, yeah, but Nance is such a class act, and when he said McElroy, or I think he said McElroy has his masterpiece, do you think he picked that line out years
11 years ago.
Yeah,
11 years
masterpiece. That's the first thing that came to my
They
mind.
use ChatGPT.
Yeah, he's such a classy guy, and the most important thing did that. I know that Trevor Immelman. I love listening to Trevor calling around too. I love his voice, but he said Rory's going to console Justin, and then they didn't say anything for that 6 minutes while Rory made that walk from the green over to get his jacket.
Well, not to mention,
And it was just so classy.
all the people that you're hugging.
Yeah.
So, I understand, and once again, when I say I understand, I don't get any of it because I'm not that guy and I don't have those zeros in my bank account. But at the end of the tournament, when he's hugging everybody, and then he's hugging, and then he just goes from this guy to this guy to that guy to this guy. You can tell this isn't somebody who's like on the tour weekly or whatever. This is one of his boys from Northern Ireland. So you're looking at it's like, how many people did he fly over to Augusta? There's got to be 35 people here that are just on his team, if you will. And it was pretty amazing. It was pretty amazing.
Yeah, and there had to be thousands of people yelling, "Rory, Rory!" And man, that's got to get to you. It's just got to get. And then when he saw Shane Lowry right before he went in to sign his card, Shane picked him up.
Right.
Man, what a great moment. I mean, they're best friends, and that was just so cool.
And like you said, it's that's probably one of those things when he's coming up on 18 and everybody, Rory, that's why he's rushing the putt. He's like, okay, don't overthink this. Don't overthink this.
Yeah.
Do what you know. But hats off to the gentleman. I'll always remember him for one thing. When he first came on the scene, and I think he had won one major or maybe a couple tournaments at that point, so a little bit of a new celebrity. And they asked him. I do remember now. The British Open was getting ready to happen, so I don't know what he had won or if it was his rookie year, second, third, or whatever. But somebody asked him, how many Beatles can you name? And he's like, yeah, none. It's like, yeah, I'd love to tell you that I know more than I do. Yeah, it's not the case.
Well, they showed clips of him, which I thought was really cool, as a little boy chipping balls into his mother's washing machine. I mean, that's how you start practicing. And then when he was growing up, they show him hitting from like 50 yards away golf balls through the driver's side window and out the passenger side window in an automobile. Did like 5 or 6 in a row like that. I said, I couldn't even hit the car, much less put it through the window.
Oh, you'd hit the car. You'd break the window, Chuck.
Yeah.
But no,
I'd
it's
hit the neighbor's house.
Yeah.
It's hard.
But yeah, it's amazing. All of these guys, we talk about this stuff, at the highest level. No matter who you want to talk about, whether it be Oberg or this guy or that guy, they're all able. They all have their thing where chipping it into a bedpan. I'm thinking about Forrest Gump when he was playing ping pong. Remember it? He's just knocking them down. Dang, dang, dang.
Yeah. You know what my favorite part of the week was? Poppy asking him. Did you hear what his little daughter asked him?
No.
She said, Dad, are you famous? At the par 3 tournament. I think we can answer that question now. Yeah. I think Rory is famous. So, again, kudos to Rory. And just another great Masters. I almost can't wait. And I was surprised nobody asked him, what are we going to have for dinner next year? But I guess that will come in time.
I guarantee it he doesn't go with that old Scottish favorite, haggis.
I hope he doesn't do haggis. Yeah. All right.
The worst meal in Augusta history.
Yeah. All right, let's get some commercials on and we'll move on.
Joshua Smith and his wife Tammy are both graduates of Kennesaw State College. He's been practicing law for 24 years, specializing in sports and entertainment law, while continuing in criminal defense, civil litigation, juvenile and personal injury law, and he's ready to represent you all the way from your small town to the Supreme Court and any appellate court in between. With all the new rules regarding NIL and cash payments to athletes, they're placing a new emphasis on Kennesaw State University student athletics to help our student athletes better navigate some of the bigger issues that have tripped up so many. Give them a call tomorrow at 706-217-2095. That's right, 706-217-2095.
There are a lot of places to get your oil changed in the Kennesaw area, but if you're looking for a personal experience, then stop in at Kennesaw Express Lube or Lost Mountain Express Lube. We'll always do our very best to get you in and out quickly, safely, and without a whole lot of fuss. We're a true owner-operated business where you'll find Brian under a car or hood at one of the shops. We offer experienced, knowledgeable technicians and the latest computer software to help you maintain your new car warranty and keep your pride and joy running for the next 100,000 miles. We proudly offer
Castrol products.
And we thank you, Brian Bristow, and I need to come see you. Tell me when you're going to be in Kennesaw. I got to get some breaks. You're the man. I need to take a break and come by and see you for
Just
breaks.
make sure you go eat lunch before you go see him, because there's no telling what that guy might try to have you eat.
Oh, there's no telling. And Joshua Smith, thank you, and Tammy, too, as well, for being sponsors. So move on in our agenda. We've got a lot of other things happening in sports other than just the Masters. Masters was the main story, but the Braves are at it again. After starting 0-7, they're now 5-6. So they're now 5-13. They have won one series against the Phillies, which is kind of odd.
The best team since.
Yeah.
It's the one that counts, though.
Yeah, but they haven't won 2 games in a row yet. Out of how many games have they played now? 18. They haven't won 2 in a row. Maybe this weekend at home against the Twins, they will.
Yeah, once again, it's a marathon. We are only 10% of the way through the season. And at the end of the day, we're not good. I threw AA under the bus 4 years ago when we won the World Series. The reason why he had to go sign 4 outfielders in August was because he did a horrible job November, December, January, February, March, April, and we're in a very bad situation now. Not all of it is under his own doing. There is he's signing guys who have performance-enhancing deals and all sorts of other stuff. But I've never been a fan. That's all I can say. Acuna's coming back. Strider came back today. We're still going to win a lot of games. But
and Strider pitched well enough to win. But when you strike out 19 times in 27 outs, that's not a good sign.
I saw a stat that said this was the first game in Braves history where our first and second batters went 0 for 8 with 8 Ks. That has never happened in the history of the franchise. How'd the top 2 guys do? They went 0 for 8 and struck out every time.
Never touched the ball.
Yeah. Not always very good.
Yeah, so... yeah, Braves on the, I think they finally got an off day tomorrow, and then the Twins are in for the weekend. Said you're going Sunday, Robert?
Yeah, going Sunday.
Yeah.
But you said it's only 10% of the season, so you still got 90% left.
Tons of time left, and the fact of the matter is
Murphy's back this week. Strider back today.
Murphy hit 4 home runs in his first. He got hurt yesterday.
Acuna back soon. Riley in the last Riley in the last 3 or 4 games has hit 3-4 home runs.
And he struck out 3 times a day, I think.
Yeah.
Well, that's what you do when you hit 3 or 4 home runs. But,
yeah.
No, we have the horses. Sometimes I believe you get so far ahead, and you're not the team you want to be in September going into October. Well, this team's going to have to be the one we want it to be, which is going to be dominating in July, dominating in August, if we're going to make it. So that's what the rest of the world better worry about.
With a little bit of help from the rest of the division beating each other up.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's wild card games. Once again, if what people want to see is, who do you got? We got the Pirates they don't want to see the Braves in the wild card game. Yeah, you did so well with having the 1 seed, and now you get the Atlanta Braves. So we're okay. We're okay. I hate AA, but
not time to panic yet.
Not quite. Although I have that Family Feud buzzer close.
Yeah, I'm familiar with that button. All right, other football, other news. Tennessee's quarterback wants money. I hope he doesn't get it. Tennessee offered him $2.2 million, and nobody else wants to pay him that.
So he had a contract
Yeah,
that was $2.2 million
at Tennessee.
At Tennessee, he held out because he felt he was worth
$4 million.
$4.4 million, and for them to get him a Bugatti.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you're not going to get me a Lambo, why am I even going to take you seriously?
The Bugatti was $2.4 million.
No, you know, and it's one of those things where we compare ourselves to other people, and when you see a guy from Athens head down to Miami and he's getting 10, and if you're hanging out in Knoxville, you're like, okay, if that's worth 10, I got to be worth 4.4, and you know, it's always going to be this way until they rein in these rules.
I don't think there's any truth to these on the KSU campus this week. Carrick's shaking his head no.
Semi-breaking news before we came on today. Colin Coward reported that Nico is headed to UCLA.
Wouldn't be surprised.
And that his parents are holding strong that it's not about money.
Yeah, his parents can hold strong to anything they want.
Yeah. If it weren't about money, he'd be at Tennessee. That's my point. $2.2 million is
But
plenty.
you're right. Until they get some sort of commissioner in charge of this and get these kids on some sort of like a contract basis, which I know makes them professional athletes at that point.
They already are.
They already are
It's
professional
just going to
athletes.
be the Wild West with all of this. And you know what? Good for Josh Heupel. Good for the University of Tennessee for standing up and saying, you know what? If you're not here for the team, then you don't need to be here.
I totally agree with that.
Doing it the morning of your spring game, having a press conference and being like, we've moved on from Nico, by the way.
Yeah. They handled it perfectly.
Yeah, I mean, and you know what? More coaches in the NCAA, especially
would
to
do
top
that-
to like the Power Four conferences. If more of them could do what Josh Heupel did on Saturday, the problem would solve itself pretty quickly.
But let me ask you this. Does Heupel ever handle it the same way again? If he handles it the same way again, do I want him at Tennessee? Because I want to win at Tennessee. So when you're letting...
But was it Heupel that made the decision about the money?
No, probably not. But at the end of the day, you know, I think Heupel's allowed to say he makes a decision based on a decision he didn't make.
Yeah.
He wanted that kid, and that kid doesn't want it. I just it's these coaches are in no-win situations.
I vote Nick Saban as NCAA football commissioner.
Oh my God!
He sounds like me, doesn't he?
And that's coming from a guy
Showers
with this on
not
his
longer.
shirt.
Showers not longer than 5 minutes. This
Yeah,
isn't
exactly.
a spa.
This isn't a spa.
That's a great commercial. Yeah, I love
It's
that.
no fun.
Two flushes. That's it.
No fun.
That's funny. All right, we do have another home team here in Atlanta that's doing everything they can to make the playoffs.
Playoffs.
The Hawks. And they got hammered by the Magic last night after they beat the Magic on Sunday, which really didn't mean anything because they couldn't move up based on their regular season winning percentage. But they were down 15.5, came back within 3, and then it all just fell apart in a heartbeat.
They had a very impressive first 7 minutes of the third quarter yesterday.
And that was it.
Trey was getting fouled left and right. He wasn't shooting a lot of things, but all of a sudden, you know, it's like, okay, we're on a 11-2 run to start the second half, and you guys already have 5 fouls. And I was like, this could work. Oh no! I went ahead and I texted somebody. So I was like, all right, I'm going to go ahead and jinx this now and say this is the best quarter of playoff basketball this franchise has ever had. Like, whee! There we go. We didn't have to worry about that again.
The current ownership doesn't seem like they want to win, though. That's the problem.
Which is the same thing with the Braves. Whenever you're owned by a boardroom and not an individual,
It's
you know,
about money.
You know, well, I mean, you know, the individual, the Mark Cubans of the world, the Steinbrenners of the world, the Jerry Joneses of the world, they're willing to throw that money down on anything because they want to be the face of the parade.
But
The other guys are just looking at.
Cuban leaving for them to win, though, in Dallas.
Well, they won with him.
Well, recently.
Well, I understand what you're saying, but you still want an individual. You want Ted Turner. Once
Arthur Blank.
Arthur Blank, and you know there's definitely a fine line with too much Arthur Blank or too much Jerry
Jones.
Jones.
Arthur Blank in that conversation because Arthur Blank's trying really hard to beat Jerry Jones.
Well, correct, but you know I think at the end of the day, even when those two guys, who I think can both be morons, one especially, you still would rather have somebody who just wants to be involved on everything instead of a boardroom who says, "What was our number? We're in the red. We're good, boys." You know.
Yeah, but the Hawks. I mean, when have they not been the middle of the road basketball team? They had one good season about 3 or 4 years ago, where they went to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah.
Against Boston. Is that right? No, against Philadelphia.
It was Philadelphia.
But really, other than that, they've been as mediocre as any basketball team has been since probably the early 90s. I mean, they haven't done anything.
Well, and I'm not super Trae Young guy, but I always like to remind everybody that Dominique never made anybody cry in Chicago, Philly, or Boston. Trae has made everybody go home in those buildings crying, holding their hands. And if you want to talk about I don't want to just say we're a jinx city that's destined for me to be unhappy for the rest of my life. But, if we had the number 1 pick this year, we get Cooper Flagg. No, we get him last year when they're like, clearly, there is not a good player available.
You
the
should
year
have just got Caitlin Clark. You'd been in a better position.
I'd have been okay with that. Yeah. Even the year before was Wemby. These are generational type talents, and we got the number. Oh, it's the wrong year. That's the only time it's ever been the wrong year.
That would be cool if we could get it this year again, but
yeah, that's probably not going to happen. I see the best white kid in the world going to the whitest state he possibly can.
Utah?
Salt Lake City.
Salt Lake City. Yeah,
they're going to have more ping pong balls in the jar than anybody else. So kudos to them if they're able to do it.
But the Hawks are just middle of the road basketball.
Well, and you saw what Trae did yesterday when he got the double technical and left.
He got ejected, didn't he?
Correct. He got which was a fine line as far as ejection, because you're getting ready to sit, because once you're down 16, your coach doesn't want you to put in too much effort because you got to play in 2 nights. So he's getting ready to bench everybody. So maybe it's a little of this, a little of that, but then. I just don't know.
So they play Friday night, the winner of Chicago and who? Miami?
Chicago and Miami tonight.
Yeah, and if they win Friday night, they get the number 1 seed Cleveland Cavaliers to play in the first round, who they beat twice this year.
Well, and technically we were 2-1 versus the Celtics.
Yeah.
So I mean, which doesn't matter. Regular season basketball versus
doesn't matter.
playoff.
They don't start playing actual basketball until about 6 days ago.
Yeah. That's when defense becomes
the
thing.
whole entire first 85% of the season.
And it's crazy considering basketball and hockey both play 82 games, how different their playoffs are. You can dominate during the NHL regular season or NBA regular season, and then as soon as it comes down to the next, it's like, oh yeah, okay, we don't line up like that. Well, you're in trouble because this is big boy time.
Yeah, but if the Braves if the Hawks lose Friday night, they're done.
Done.
Yeah.
And when we have a chance at Cooper Flagg.
Yeah.
0.0001.
But
so you're saying there's a chance?
There's a chance. All right.
But we were in this exact position last year, and we got the first round.
Correct. We won the impossible. We won Mega Millions when it was at $100,000.
Exactly. All right. Let's get a Brain Train commercial on, and then we'll move on.
Hey, it's Melissa again with Brain Train Centers. Did you know March is Brain Injury Awareness Month? At Brain Train Centers, we are dedicated to helping anyone who has suffered from a concussion or brain injury. You may not even realize you have been affected by a brain injury because maybe you didn't hit your head. You can injure your brain from a jolt, a fall, or even whiplash. Some symptoms you may experience are memory decline, focus issues, or even bad moods. We could help you heal your brain. All you have to do is come in for a brain assessment at one of our locations and you could see how your brain is functioning. This is your first step to taking back control of your brain's health. Just give us a call or text us at 470-291-2778, or for more information, visit braintraincentersinc.com.
And we thank you, Melissa Hergert, for being the sponsor of the Three Guys Who Love Sports. Don't forget, at 7 o'clock, we got the Owls show coming up, all about KSU sports. You got Mr. Josiah Chenault coming back on the show. Going to talk some spring football, how it went, and might be bringing a teammate with him. We'll find out here shortly. But happy to have Tim Davis with us today as a first-time guest on the Three Guys Who Love Sports. And we have a continuing... You look like you got something to say.
I just wanted to ask if you dressed Tim today.
Tim?
Yeah, Tim Davis.
I'm able to dress myself.
Well,
No,
My
I
wife
did not
might
dress
tell
him.
you I am, but I'm able to dress myself.
That's good. I figured you had the know-how to do so. I just, when I see anybody dressed in all that beautiful red and black, I figured Chuck
Didn't have anything to do with it.
Chuck told me to wear all this.
All right, so our continuing streak of the greatest athletes to wear certain jersey numbers, and we skipped it last week because had so much going on with the Masters and the wrap-up of the Final Four, but we're back at it this week, number 55, and I was a little shocked to see the number of great athletes at number 55. There are a bunch.
Yeah, a lot of times there's one sport heavy, and this one was kind of spread out. But let me just go ahead and say my favorite 55 ever is still going to be Mars Blackmon commercial. Do you remember when Jordan went to play baseball, and then when he came back from his 2-year retirement, his very first game was at the Garden against the Knicks, and Mars Blackmon, a.k.a. Spike Lee, did his commercial. He's like, Jordan came back and dropped a double nickel on my Knicks. That's, whenever I think in 55, I always think of Mars Blackmon telling me that he dropped a double nickel on my Knicks.
Yeah.
I love Mars Blackmon.
It's awesome. All right.
But there's a lot of good players.
There were some good athletes. Junior Seau, I didn't realize how long he played and how long he hadn't played. I was thinking he retired 2 or 3 years ago, and it's 15, 16 years since he retired.
Considering he died 13 years ago.
Yeah, it's tough for him to play now. Dikembe Mutombo, probably one of my favorite Hawks ever. No.
Not today.
Not today. There you go. Terrell Suggs. Ravens, right?
And let me just say, interrupt you there because that's what I do best. Terrell Suggs is an incredible player. The only reason why he can't be my number 55 is because most of his career he was not the best player on his team.
Yeah.
And not to take anything away from him, he was a great player, but
And then there's Oral Hershiser, and I actually worked with Katie Hershiser, who was Oral's sister, when I did the You Got the Right One Baby thing with Diet Pepsi and Girls. Katie worked for Pepsi, so she was here in Atlanta, and I got to meet her several times and talk about Pepsi stuff.
Is there any truth that they almost had Chuck Burge do that instead of Ray?
No, I did.
You got the right one?
I did host I was the MC for the Girls for 2.5 years. I never got to meet Ray, but I hung out with the girls a bunch. A bunch. Yep. But Katie was nice. There were so many other good ones on this list.
Tim
Lincecum? Correct. I got him on my list.
Boston Red Sox, right? Pittsburgh?
Giants.
Oh, Giants.
New
That's
York
right.
Giants.
Yeah.
The San Francisco
Giants.
Yeah, San Francisco Giants.
But
Unless you switch to football.
But absolutely. I was going to bring up the Freak, as he's known.
Yep.
Everybody lies about how big they are in sport.
Pretty tall.
No, they say he was 5'11" and weighed 170.
Right.
So if that's what you're claiming, that tells me you're probably closer to 5'9" and a half and 162. And to dominate the way he did, the guy won 2 Cy Youngs and was the best pitcher on that team in that run where they won 3 World Series. So, and his second year, his second, third, and fourth years, he led the league in strikeouts. So the Freak was amazing.
Dominant pitcher.
And once again, you look at somebody like him and you go, well, if he could be a professional athlete, maybe I could have been because he didn't have all of those things that you think you need.
On that same token, Hideki Matsui wore number 55.
Correct. I couldn't go for him because he's a freaking Yankee. But on the Lincecum thing,
he doesn't like the Yankees.
I don't like the Yankees either, but he wasn't exactly a peak physical condition when he was playing for the Yankees.
No, he wasn't.
Well. He ran like a 16-second 40.
On the Lincecum draft, he was drafted in the 42nd round by the Indians in 2005. He was drafted by the 48th round by the Cubs, 42nd round by the Indians, and just kept playing college, and then was selected 10th overall pick. So, here's a guy 3 years later, he's a 46th pick on a team, and all of a sudden 2 years later, he's a top 10 pick in the draft. So, he worked his own stock, and kudos. He's not my guy, but it's great call.
He's not your guy?
He's not my guy.
Is he your guy?
He's up there.
He's up there. He's
All
up
right.
there.
Junior Sal was another one like we talked about, Pro Football Hall of Fame, 12-time Pro Bowl, 8-time first-team All-Pro, NFL Defensive Player of the Year, NFL Man of the Year, NFL 100th Anniversary All-Time Team, NFL 1990s All-Decade Team, LA Chargers retired his number, LA Chargers Hall of Fame. Pretty impressive.
Absolutely. And to me, once again, wore the double nickel his entire career. Not, I wore it one time when I wasn't so good or anything. He was that guy. And, very sad thing. I believe his death was concussion related, all sorts of rough times. Those big hits by middle linebackers take their toll after a while. So, but do you know what his first name was?
It wasn't Junior?
Tiania.
Tiania.
I would have went by Junior
heard that
too.
before, yeah.
Correct, sir.
I would have went by Junior as well.
All right. Number 2 on this ranker list is Dikembe.
That's who I would have at number 1.
Basketball Hall of Fame.
Atlanta homer over.
8-time NBA All-Star, NBA second team in 2001. 2-time All-NBA third team. 4-time NBA Defensive Player of the Year. 3-time NBA All-Defensive Team. 3 NBA All-Defensive second team. NBA All-Rookie first team. 2-time NBA Rebounding Leader. 3-time NBA Blocks Leader. Number 55, retired by the Hawks, and also retired by the Denver Nuggets.
One of the only great athletes from Kenosha.
Kenosha?
Yeah, not a lot of people from the Congo.
No.
And he didn't go to high school here. Went straight to Georgetown, and I hate Georgetown. That's like my number one. It's kind of like the Hurricanes in football. I hate that.
Kind of like my Georgia Bulldogs.
So this guy is. More so because you hate them because they're close and they're always in your face and they win a lot. I've always hated that. And so he did not start off on a good foot with me, but wow, did he. I have stood next to him at one point in my life, and one of the very humbling when you're standing somewhere in the vicinity of somebody like that.
My ex-wife had a picture made with Tree Rollins.
Yep.
She's 4'11", and Tree was like 7'3", 7'4". That was tough to get them in the same frame.
Yeah, I got a picture of Tree when I was like 11 years old, but Dikembe, and once again, the whole finger wag. You think about how he, that became a commercial series.
I was
not
just
too
thinking
long
the
ago.
same thing.
Because he's so nice, he's so gregarious with his big deep voice and his laugh. Going, no. Gotta love the guy.
Awesome.
Gotta love the guy.
So is he your number 1?
Possibly.
He's not mine.
All right.
You want me to give you mine?
Yeah, I'm ready to hear yours.
Let me give you the stats and then see if you can figure out who it is.
Well, there's only so many 55s. So
But he wasn't on this list.
Okay.
All right, there's somebody different. He's in the Hall of Fame, NFL, Super Bowl champion, 11-time Pro Bowl, Walter Payton Man of the Year, NFL Defensive Player of the Year, NFL 100th Anniversary All-Star Team, NFL 2000s All-Decade Team. He's in their team's Ring of Honor, and they retired his number for 55 too.
Florida State University.
Derek Brooks, that's the one. That's my number 1 guy.
He was an incredible player, and I think that whole Walter Payton, it should be worth more. Not only did I dominate, my peers said I was a better person than they were. So, kudos to that.
Yeah, that's my guy.
That's a good pick.
That's a great pick. I can't pick him because he was a freaking a Falcon killer.
Yeah.
But I'm really close with with Dikembe and a guy who's still not in the Hall of Fame, but they didn't call him Bulldog for nothing. Oral Hershiser, what he was able to do in his career, which it wasn't a great career. It was a great career. When I was looking up some of his stats and seeing that Oral is not in the Hall of Fame, it reminded me of something on the NBA show where they have Kenny Smith, Shaq, and Barkley. Mm-hmm. And Barkley says about Kenny Smith, he says, Shaq, well, Kenny says one of his biggest regrets is that he never made the All-Star game. And Shaq just looks at him and goes, he wasn't that good. You know, at the end of the day, when at the end of your career, you say, I never made that. Well, guess what? You weren't that good. You know? And Shaq just
Shaq says it the way it is.
Correct. So I understand
Especially with
Oral's
Charles.
not. Yeah, I understand he's not in the Hall of Fame. There's probably a reason behind it. You know, all-time record of 204 and 150, 348 ERA. But just a gamer. You know, the 88 series with, you know, everybody will always remember Kirk Gibson doing arm pumps. Kirk Gibson didn't win a World Series MVP. Oral did. Oral also won the NLCS MVP that year.
Was Valenzuela on the team then? Or he came later?
No, Valenzuela was a rookie in '81. So,
In 81, that's
so
right.
yeah, he'd have been there. But Valenzuela, he
He peaked and then
he had like 4 or 5 years at the beginning, and then hardly anything. And then what he was able to do with the Indians. You know, you go back to the greatest year for the Braves for, you know, that one time in the 90s. At least we got off the schneid and we didn't become my other team, the Buffalo Bills of the 90s for baseball. Oral was the guy who we had to beat. And, you know, I still have the newspaper framed, you know, Maddox fails oral exam. You know, it's like, yeah, when Maddox can't beat this guy, that guy's probably pretty good. And, you know, I'm going to give it up for Oral. I hated him, but on this list, a tie with Dikembe.
Well, I have to say that's pretty odd that not only do we have 3 different athletes as our most greatest athlete wearing the same number, but 3 different sports.
Yep.
We got basketball, football, and baseball.
Yeah, in 88, I pulled up a couple stats. In 88, he had a 105 ERA and 42.2 innings in the postseason. So just in the postseason, he pitched 42 innings. You know, that sounds like a stat that's probably never going to be broken ever again, period, because nobody pitches that much. You know, in 95, he was 4-1 in 4 starts. Yeah, they're bringing him in off the. Hey, we just need you to come in. Just come in. I know it's not your regular time, but just come on in.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, that's cool that we got 3 different sports. Larry, if you had to pick the tiebreaker, who would it be? Somebody wake Larry up.
No, I think I'd have to go with the Timbo.
Yeah, there was no doubt. There was no doubt he was going with a finger waver.
Yeah.
He's a homer.
He's a homer, too, just like Tim. There's nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that, especially when it's Dikembe. And not to mention, who did they beat? You know, one of the best NBA. You know, there's those different videos that you could show at the beginning of, and there's the picture of Dikembe hugging the ball as a Denver Nugget, laying down on the floor
I remember that.
when they pulled the super upset. You know, before he ever became a Hawk. So you know, that's one of those iconic images that. You know, I don't remember who he beat, but it's still embedded in my brain.
Yeah. All right, so we got one more segment to do, but probably one of the most fun segments we'll ever do. But we're going to do our 2 commercials and wrap up the show.
Tired of going to the same old places for the same old thing? American Access has your solution. Whether you're looking for something new to do before or after the game, the most memorable workouting ever, or just wanting to take something else off your bucket list, American Access has their 3.5 Atlanta locations waiting for you in Marietta, Tucker, downtown at the Works, and the uber cool new mobile X experience that can be set up wherever you need. Keep an eye out for them at upcoming events and festivals, and look them up at American Access, or give a call to 678-763-3635.
Where?
678-763-3635 to schedule your next adventure.
And who do we thank for that?
Mr. Fisher?
Dan Fisher, there you go. And we appreciate Dan being a sponsor. Are you looking for a ride that's more than just transportation? Experience the revolution in luxury travel with Revere Black Car Service. Whether it's a trip to the airport, corporate travel, weddings, daily commutes, or a ride to the KSU game, our Black Car Service delivers comfort, style, and reliability. Ride in a premium luxury vehicle with a professional chauffeur dedicated to exceptional service. Enjoy all the amenities while indulging in a first-class experience designed just for you. Whether you're heading to an important meeting, catching a flight, or celebrating a special occasion, Revere Transportation gets you there in style. Join the revolution And book your ride today at revererides.com.
The revolution will not be televised.
No. And thank you, Travis Loudermilk, for being a sponsor of the Three Guys Who Love Sports.
Absolutely.
So, big night coming up a week from tomorrow night, the NFL draft in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Man, is that city going to be mad, crazy, or what?
I just want to throw out that this has been a really cold spring. I haven't looked up what the weather is in Lambeau, but, I'm sure most of the people who will be there will be wishing they were in South Beach.
Yeah, but, man, I'd love to go to one of these. We've talked about this before. I wish I'd have gone 2 years ago when it was in Nashville. That would probably be the closest. I don't see it coming to Atlanta anytime soon.
Oh, absolutely. Centennial Park, I mean, that beautiful location.
Oh, if they do it, we'll be there.
And the new area they just built around, or they're building around.
We'll broadcast live from down there, Larry. Yeah. We can do that.
Larry's like, I got that technology. We're ready.
I got it covered. All right. So, what do you think the Falcons are going to do at 15, Robert?
Well, they're going to disappoint me, Chuck. There'll probably be a good bulldog left on the board, and we will not even blink at them. Whether
they're going to let Philadelphia get them again.
Who's the guy that they say they're going to be? Is it what's the guy's name from Georgia?
Jalen Carter. Or you're not talking about who we skipped on before?
No, who's supposed to be there at 15 now? And all the radio says, "Oh, they got to take the guy from Georgia. They got to take the guy from Georgia."
Michael Williams?
No.
Michael Williams.
Yeah, Michael Williams. That's who it is. Yeah.
Michael Williams.
Yeah.
Probably won't be there at 15.
Yeah, but if he is, and he not taking the local radio stations that all kiss Georgia's butt, are you just going to be up in arms again?
Well, but they never take anybody, and regardless if you take this guy, you still let the big boy go a couple years ago, and just mind-boggling. It is what it is. That was generational talent that you were going to get at the 8th pick. Which typically speaking, you couldn't get Jalen Carter in most drafts, probably outside of the top 3.
Yeah.
And yes, he did a lot to push his own number back, but we got to see what the first 14 do, and then the Falcons will underwhelm us at that point.
Yeah, I'm going to go. I think Mike Williams out of Texas A&M. I think he'll be a good edge rusher for the Falcons if he's still there, but we'll see. I think that's his name.
I'll bet they don't even take an edge rusher.
You think they'll take another quarterback?
The Atlanta Falcons do. No, we'll get like another tight end, another quarterback, water boy.
If they take another quarterback,
Jalen Walker,
I will lose it.
I'd be more for taking Jalen Walker than I would, Williams. But we'll see what happens. Once again, I was watching this, and before we go off on what we need to talk about, I was watching a highlight reel on Ashton Genty, and I think the guy's good. Don't get me wrong. Don't send Larry hate mail or anything else. But
at least not about this.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, obviously he deserves plenty of hate mail, just not about this. I'm watching him, and every time you see a great running back, and I'm just going to say somebody like Saquon in college, or Zeke when he was in college, or any of these types of guys, they always show the highlight, and the guy's out on the edge, and there's somebody reaching for him, and he brings. Everybody on Genty's reel went to Fresno and went to UNLV, and I just don't know.
But on all those highlight reels, they were 20 to 40 yards behind him as he was running.
Well, no, I'm just talking about people who actually had like an arm on him, and he breaks that tackle.
It was kind of shown in the playoff last year when they went to actually play some talent outside of their conference, which he can't help because that's where he went to school and that's where he's played football.
Absolutely. That's who had faith in him
I can't wait to see who gets him. I think he's going to be a really good running back. I don't think it'll be like a little LT or whatever.
So I've been saying for 6 months at least, the one person I don't want, and after this week, I'm really on that page, our two-way star.
Hunter.
I have to be able to play both ways, or I don't want to do it.
He supposedly said in an interview today that if he doesn't play both ways, that he will stop playing football.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Mind-boggling. And once again, as I've been saying for a long time, he's played way too much. I don't want a kid coming out of college who's played 98% of every play in every game on both sides.
No, and you can't do that in the you can't do that in the NFL for longer than half a season. Not in today's game.
Absolutely.
Maybe back when Dion played, when it was a little bit different of a game.
But Dion was still only doing punt returns and kickoff returns. He wasn't.
True, but he wasn't at wide receiver and at D back on all the plays. I think maybe whatever team he does end up going to, he's going to be a wide receiver or he's going to be a D back, and then maybe they have packages for him to be out there for special plays where he's playing that position. But
not playing every.
To have that mentality that I'm playing all or nothing, and you're not even drafted yet.
And you're telling me that before I ever draft you.
Yeah.
Watch that plummet. Boo, yeah. All right. So NFL draft is upon us next Thursday night, and next Wednesday night we have one of the greatest shows ever. We bring
Is Will Renfro on the show?
He's always on the show.
If it's one of the greatest shows ever. I just figured he must be involved.
Absolutely. So we bring in 10 general managers to make the first 10 picks in the NFL draft next week. So a lot of fun. Robert, if you would pull up the draft, we're going to go ahead and let Tim make some picks for us. Starting with who will be picking in the number 10 spot.
For the Bears.
For the Bears.
So for the number 10 spot, picking for the Bears, I'm just picking these cards out here. There's Rory Christian.
Rory Christian.
So good luck. Hopefully
number
you're a Bears
10.
fan.
Number 10, Bears. And Rory, you're picking spot number 10. That doesn't necessarily mean you'll be picking for the Bears because there could be a trade between now and
That's
then.
true.
But as of right now, you're definitely picking the 10th position, and you're picking for the Bears right now.
Correct. And according to their needs, they need defensive linemen, cornerbacks, safeties, wide receivers, and kickers. So maybe you can blow everybody away by taking a kicker with that
managers,
tip.
maybe. GM.
Yeah.
We
Coach.
had
Coach.
in our fantasy league one year, this guy Matt Weiner had never been in a fantasy league before, and with the very first pick, he was lucky enough to get first pick. He takes Matt Kofer, the kicker from San Francisco. I said, "Well, he scored the most points last year." I was like, "All right."
In my very first ever fantasy baseball draft, I took Mariano Rivera with my first or second pick. And everybody's like, why would you do that? And I was like, because he's the best. I didn't exactly understand the scoring the way your friend didn't either.
Yeah,
So.
Matt did not win the fantasy football league. I'll just let you know.
Nor did I that year.
All right. Who is our number 9 pick?
The Aints.
Picking for the Aints will be
Ian King.
Ian King.
Ian King. I won't like that. Ian, you're picking number 9 currently for the Saints, but you will be picking in the. Now, I like Ian being in that position because he'll study.
He's going to do some homework.
He'll do some homework.
He's going to
He'll
be
be
ready.
ready.
But, you know, they put little initials out next to their needs as far as what they need. Theirs just has, you know, dots next to it, like everything. You know, we need wide receivers, cornerbacks, linemen,
They're talking about
linebackers,
Sanders dropping him,
tackles.
but I don't think Sanders is going to go that high now.
I've seen the last 2 mocks I've seen has him going to the Steelers.
Really?
Not saying I know anything, just what I'm looking at, and I'm like, wow, that guy's dropped a lot considering they were saying he was a top 10 a month and a half ago.
We'll probably start paying a lot more attention to it in the next week. Of course, we don't have a whole lot to do. We just get to sit here and comment next week.
Yeah, we make fun of people.
Yeah,
we make fun of
that'd
people.
be a great week. All right, the number 8 pick is who has the 8 pick?
The
Robert?
Carolina Panthers.
The Panthers.
Dylan Bledsoe.
Dylan Bledsoe. All right.
Now, I've seen a couple mock drafts that have them adding a little wide receiver talent. I think the kid from Missouri who was an All-American this year, maybe even last year, 2-time All-American.
Oh, yeah, wide receiver. I remember him.
Well,
yeah.
you know, I mean, they
Can't think of his name, but
before you're getting ready to say that your quarterback, you need a new one, you maybe should give him a toy. At least something to play
They
with.
didn't give him any help last year.
They gave him nothing his rookie year and nothing his second year.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because the kid's got a little talent.
He does, and you know exactly what you're saying. When you look back at the Eagles and the Dolphins when they got their Alabama quarterbacks, they went there and they didn't have anything. And then, you know, they drafted Devontae, they went out and got AJ. The other team went out and got Tyreek, and you know, so you got to have somebody to play.
And he ran for his life most of the first 2 years he played football down there too. So
Absolutely.
he's got to get some protection. And he's got to have somebody that he can dump the ball off to.
All right, who's our number 6 pick? Oh, it's 7. Is it 7?
It is Sean Fells and the New York Jets. Jets.
So who is picking for the Jets?
Eric Eads.
Oh, that's a beautiful one.
Eric Eads.
That's one of my best friend's sons. He's gonna love picking for the Jets because you know what? You really can't screw that up. The Jets will do that for you. But if you're the Jets, what are you taking?
Well, who's their quarterback? Well, they traded. They got.
They got nothing.
No, they had. Was it Justin Fields?
Yeah, they have Fields.
Yeah.
Maybe you guys
As they
didn't hear
said,
me
they have
before.
nothing.
They've got nothing. So you know what do they got? They've got a really good.
But he's good.
Well, Brees, the running back, and then Garrett Wilson.
Garrett Wilson's the Ohio
so,
State
so
guy.
you know, there's
Ohio State.
two nice offensive pieces, but you got nobody to get him the ball and maybe nobody to block for him. So,
All right,
good
number
luck
6.
with that one, Eric.
Who's number 6, Robert?
That would be the Vegas Raiders.
The Raiders. Who
The
it is,
Vegas
Tim?
Raiders.
The Raiders. We're gonna go with Zach Hyatt.
Zach Hyatt.
Oh, that's right up his alley. Although he was really hoping for number 1. That's his team.
Yeah. Yep. Zach got the Raiders. That'll be a fun pick. All right. Number 5 is
The Jayville
Jacksonville.
Jaguars.
Tyson Scragg.
Tyson Scragg with the Jaguars. I can't wait to hear him pontificate about the needs.
Is he a good
people from-
pontificator?
He's going to think he's a very good pontificator, and you know, anybody who wants to talk about Duval, you know, I'm all about listening.
Make sure you send me his email so I can copy him on the
I will.
on the draft order. All right. We got something wrong here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, we only got 4 left.
Yep.
So picking at
Number 4
number 4
would be the New England Patriots.
would be the new play.
4 is gonna go to Brent.
Oh my
Rittershorn.
gosh! Can you believe that?
Actually, I can.
Oh, okay.
He's a Patriots fan, isn't he?
He is a
He is,
Patriots
yeah.
fan. You know, what's fun about this pick is that no matter what he says, we're just going to tell him that they still suck. And that player's not going to be enough to push them over the top.
Yeah. So we got Greg Fuller, Andrew Warner, and Farrell Middleton left.
Whew.
And who's number 3? The Giants?
The guys who are taking Hunter are number 3, the New York Football Giants.
Andrew Warner,
Andrew Warner.
number 3.
Every mock draft I see has him going there, Hunter.
the Giants.
It's as horrible as his stock is in my book. Watching him talk and listening to him talk, I'm like, you are made to be in New York. I can't.
It'll lead
I
him
can't.
alive.
Well, yeah, they will.
All right. So number 2 be the Browns, right?
The Cleveland Browns.
Cleveland Browns is gonna go to Greg Fuller.
Greg Fuller.
That's about the easiest pick that man will ever make.
Yeah. Greg, the general manager of Six Flags. Been on the show a couple times. Great guest. And I'm sure
Now
he
he's
will.
GM for the.
Now he's GM for the Cleveland Browns. So that's a step up, going from Six Flags to Cleveland.
No, this is not a step up. for Greg.
That's a demotion.
You can go back to your regular job, Greg, after you make your pick.
Greg was revered for being such an awesome person the rest of his life, and then as soon as he got this job, everybody's like,
And so we got one pick left, and it's going to
Well, there's only one card left on the table, so we're gonna go with Farrell.
Farrell.
Another shocker.
Another shocker.
just
Farrell
blown
Middleton.
away over here.
And he will be picking for the Tennessee Titans.
And now, what do Farrell and I have in common?
I have no idea.
He and I are always first.
Oh, there you go. Oh, look at
Fantasy
you.
football or the
Fantasy
draft?
football. All right.
Sorry, I had to slide that one in there.
So real quick, at number 10, we got Rory Christian picking for the Bears. At number 9, we got Ian King picking for the Saints. At 8, Dylan Bledsoe picking for the Fencers. At 7, Eric Eads picking for the New York Jets. At 6, Zach Hyatt picking for the Raiders. At 5, Scragg picking for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Number 4, Britt Rittersdorf picking for the Patriots. Number 3, Andrew Warner picking for the Giants. Number 2, Greg Fuller picking for the Browns. And Farrell Middleton picking for those Tennessee Titans. Be a fun show.
You know, it is going to be a fun show. I just, I really hope the Browns get this one right. I don't think there's any doubt where the Titans are going. I think it's going to be quarterback. Although, once again, I love these little abbreviations here. Next to Tennessee's needs, they have edge, wide receiver, linebacker, tight end, defensive line, and safety. They don't even have quarterback listed. And
Well,
it's
they got
just,
the kid from Kentucky, right, that beat the Falcons.
yeah, he's not playing anymore.
Levis?
Yeah,
Levis.
Will Levis.
Yeah.
Right. I think there's a reason why they're going to say Cam because of Levis.
Yeah, I think Cam Ward's going.
All right. Well, we're a little over time. Robert, good show, buddy. Tim, thanks for coming on, buddy.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate you guys.
Guys,
Absolutely.
don't forget, 7 o'clock show, we got the Owls coming up with a big old guy. Mr. Josiah Chenault going to come on tonight and tell us how the spring game went among all the players. We look forward to that. And until then, guys, know your numbers, cover your ass, get your prostate checked. We'll see you next week right here on Three Guys Who Love Sports.
I've come back and be more prepared like you guys are. Just firing from the hip.
Yeah, well, we just do it every week, so
Yeah.
you can be prepared too if you just sit around.
Hey, Will.
talking about nothing. No, you were great. Look
Yeah,
forward
you're
to having
very,
you
very
back.
good. Yeah. Wants to meet Tim Davis. Tim Will Renfro.
Well, nice to meet you.
Tim has lost 175 pounds.
Well, you got more than me.
Yeah. But,
Back on it today, though.
oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Cool.
Monday was my birthday, so I decided, okay.
Yeah.
I got to get it done.
How was Montana? Did you have fun?
How much are you down?
About 115.
It's got a 1 in front of it, so that's impressive.
Every joint in your body appreciates everything you guys
I
have
just
done.
got new glasses because of it. Like my prescription was time to do up, and for the first time in my entire life, my prescription got better
Really?
because of all of the. She's like, you've lost a lot of weight, your body's
The
changed.
one that
your
surprised
eyesight's a
me
little
was
better.
I used to wear wide shoes.
Yeah, me too.
Now I can wear regular shoes.
I've gone through 4 different full-on wardrobes in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
.211 over 160.
Wow.
And I had a heart issue, cholesterol issue, type 2 diabetic. I didn't know I was.
We would love to
Pretty much
have
everything.
you out here.
Everything down the blood panel is like, hey, you're about to die.
Any and every
So I just
Wednesday you have
changed my diet, started going to the gym 4 days a week.
You're right. Texting you, buddies.
Cut out, for the first year, I cut out all sugar, almost all carbs, all alcohol, all caffeine, and went straight to a fresh
Nothing to
meat,
be prepared for.
fresh
because your knowledge will take you.
a fresh produce and fresh meat diet. Like I started, we're busy. I'm an insurance agent, so like, some days I get home at 3, some days it's like 9 o'clock. So we ate like crap forever.
Prepared for.
So making fresh meat every day,
learning how to
making
set
fresh
everything
vegetables
up.
every day. Really, I think that the thing that ended up helping me the
And
most is
then
consciously trying to keep myself
Jumping in
caloric.
occasionally.
So under
Did
two,
you measure that?
under two, just in my head, under like
on different
I know
subjects.
looking at something, it's that's like 400 or 500 calories. That's 300 calories. Like in my head, just trying to keep it to where I was under 2,000 calories a day. Plus, moving around, you burn roughly 2,000 calories as it is, just moving around, and then going to the gym, and in the gym burning between 800 and 900 calories. So I kept myself to where I was negative 1,000 every day, the weight just shed right off.
Yeah.
But really, the sugar, the sodium, and the fast food that I just stopped eating fast food. I'll cut that out within the first couple months. It was like 50 pounds down.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've since like incorporated a lot of it back in because you plateau and now I'm building muscle and losing fat. But like I build in a cheat day every week
good.
where I just don't give a crap. I'll eat whatever I want.
Oh, that's over there to
drink
Larry.
in moderation.
I
and
try
if
to stay
do,
away from.
If it's liquor, it's agave tequila.
The first person who ever
there's
described
no
it to me was
sugar.
like, it's kind of rubbery. It's like, well, I was already not
Carbs
thinking
don't
I wanted it, and
transition
now I
into
do.
sugar and then end up in your body as sugar. So yeah, just that. Watching what I eat, really, and then being more active.
I don't. The one thing I can't do is
It works differently for everybody.
Yeah.
I'll do a crunchy onion.
Yeah, I mean,
Montana was good.
Some onions and-
Loved your pictures.
Onion tangler? Like
No,
fried onion?
just
weren't there
I
very
mean,
long
like
enough.
fried onion, I'm
Yeah.
good because it's.
Well, you there a week, weren't you?
Not even a week.
If I'm eating some,
Oh, okay.
yeah, like if I'm eating something like this and it had, I don't want a ton of them, but if it had some, it'd be okay. But it's, when I get in there and I'm like,
Theirs just
and then there's a crunch. It's like,
cool,
okay,
but
there was
it's
not
just
supposed to be a crunch on that bite.
No humidity at all, right?
Yeah, and Whitefish, Montana is a tiny town.
Yeah.
At least we're both down with the lack of.
Traffic, especially this time of year because you're not in ski season. The ski slopes closed last week.
First time I ever.
Weird, but it's the only way I can describe it.
First time I ever had mushrooms, I did. Well, okay, not the very first time.
Which ones?
Yeah, it's just trying
Yeah,
it out.
yeah. That's a different story. That's a different.
We'll be here all night.
Bet you missed him, though.
Oh yeah.
Give me a napkin, please, sir.
You can have those even though you don't need them.
Give me one wing.
No, thank you. I have chicken cutlets at home already.
Thank you.
I am going to order a beer while I'm here, though.
I'm gonna head back over here.
Now, did you eat that picture that you sent us?
Yeah. I kind of came off the dive while we were there.
Yeah.
Well, somebody told us you got to go to this little barbecue place, and you're in Whitefish, Montana. Everything looks like a hole in the wall, unless it's high end, like for the ski people.
Right.
This is like a local's little barbecue joint.
A lot of
In-house.
skiing in that area. I mean, as far as resorts and
yeah.
stuff. Okay.
Yeah, not Big Sky. Is it Big Sky?
Something like that, maybe.
It may be up there. There's a Whitefish. It's called Whitefish, but there's one of the pictures I posted. I'll show you. You can see the trails on the mountain, like looking down Central Avenue. There's the ski slopes in the background. But it's north of Kamei. It's up near Glacier.
Way on
It's
up.
almost in Alaska. Not Alaska.
Canada.
And
Which
so we
Canada's
went to this little
almost in
barbecue place. And whoever told us to go there's like, you got to try the Hut Burger or whatever it was called. And it's 2 burger patties with fried pork belly on top of it.
So that
And then
is
the
garlic
cream
sauce.
cheese had huckleberries
They
and
deleted
something
the
else in
button
it.
for no sauce on
I was like,
Chuck's
that just
wings,
sounds
so I was
awful.
like,
Yeah.
I'll try it.
garlic on the side. Bacon.
I'm a glutton
It's
for
really good
punishment.
on the broccoli.
Oh, it was good.
Sold.
So, where else did we go?
Where'd you fly into?
Kalispell.
So where?
Kalispell's a real city. Like it's got a Walmart and a Home Depot and a Lowe's and
But you didn't fly direct from Atlanta to there.
Minneapolis.
Minneapolis.
There's only 2 ways to get there. You either go to Minneapolis or Salt Lake City. And they have connecting flights into Kalispell.
When I went up a couple years ago, I was really surprised that Rapid City. You'd think Rapid City got to go through Minneapolis.
Well, Delta, there's not enough flights to go. I flew Delta, so their hubs are for the west, Minneapolis and
Denver and
Salt Lake, and then LA for some things. Like there's like LA to Atlanta, LA to New York. There's a lot of flights. But,
Up, GB?
fancy.
Utensils.
Clean.
Oh, these are mine?
Yeah, I think so.
I was wondering where they went.
I went to my house to be cleaned.
I was like, they're somewhere. I'll find them. They may be dirty in a couple months, but I'll find them. Because I looked, I was like, I don't know where they went. But
Yeah, I should have probably told you, but you're on vacation. I figured he doesn't need them. He'll get them on Wednesday.
Hey, that dude was hanging out in Montana and he couldn't sleep. He's like, where the hell are my spatulas? Where are my spatulas?
Probably sitting at the...
I got us that. But where else do we eat? We ate somewhere. We ate this little high-end Italian place downtown. It's really good. But because it's got skiing and because it's got the lake, there's summer activities and there's winter activities. In the spring, like during the melt season, there's
Nothing to do.
So there's nobody there. So there's no traffic. There's no reservations are easy to get at the nice places. The lodge was. That's why they do their conference there, because the lodge is cheaper. Because
I love traveling, and it is different. If you went to that same place 3 different times, once during snow season, once during summer, it'd be a completely different trip.
they have a name for it. I'd never heard anywhere else. They call it shoulder season. So between the 2 seasons, they call it shoulder season. And everybody there that works in any of the touristy stuff,
Right.
always does, like if they do ski stuff, they're working the lake stuff in the summer, or rafting or something, or tour guide for hiking or something. They work all multiple jobs. And
I
we
ran.
found a nice house, 2-bedroom house right on Main Street, $900,000.
Wow.
There's no houses there. It's expensive.
When I was out in Yellowstone, I ran into a lot of people in West Yellowstone and Cody, where I was talking with them or whatever, and they leave. There's literally no jobs for them.
They come in and work the season.
Yeah, correct. Their season is late April through the end of September, and then what are you doing? I'm driving back to Texas. I'm going here. Nothing there.
Yeah. Yeah. Every time you work anywhere around Yellowstone, you get a waiter, ask them where they're from. They're never from
Right.
West. Where is that? Colorado? Not Colorado. Where's Yellowstone?
Wyoming.
No, to get the state. It's in the corner of Wyoming.
A little bit Montana, a little bit Idaho, mostly Wyoming.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. They're always from out of town.
How are you, sir? How are you?
Pretty good.
Damn, how many wings do you get?
I'll let you guys eat.
106.
They're halfway gone.
Yeah, exactly. What were you guys talking
Appreciate
about?
you guys having me.
I'm glad you did. Hope you come back.
What were you guys guessing earlier? What were you asking the questions, guessing the player, NFL or whatever?
We have a draft show next week, so we're doing 10 different GMs will come in and make their picks for the draft, and we're just guessing it.
Nice.
How the Falcons will screw it up.
They always do. If there's one thing you can count on, it's that.
Yes, I know. I know that kid knows. Good friends with his dad.
Very fun, no, messy.
Well, a lot of times you have these relationships where, the GM's married to the coach, and just so now Falco's got 4 years under his belt.
Hey, Carrot,
He's going to have to produce.
we need to talk to you. Come over here.
Or there's going to be a new GM.
Well, with the whole Georgia Bulldogs side of it, you just look foolish when you have blue chip players coming from a program that make NFL ready players, and you pass over them time and time again.
You mean
And then they go somewhere else and they just dominate.
like the Eagles, where the Eagles go, hey, I'll take guys who play in national championships, who play in the best conference at the highest level, whether they're Dogs, Tide, anything.
Here's Tim Davis, another Bulldog.
Hey, how are you?
Derek Martin.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, it's just nuts. And being the hometown, you could create an instant star just like that.
But it's always been that way. The only time this franchise has ever drafted anybody really was Keith Brooking. And he was great. It'd be different if they drafted Brooking.
Well, I mean, Bill Goldberg did play for both Georgia and the Falcons.
Yeah, but I said great. No, it's
He was a world champion, just not in football.
correct.
All right, Larry, Hank. So, we were talking earlier, we want to give for Giving Day. I'm trying to figure out, should we give like $50 to the last 5 teams raising money? Or should we give $250 to the winning team?
I mean, you want it to be a match, or you want to help a team that's
Well, the problem is we don't want to single out teams like, well, we do the golf, because there's too many teams out there. So
well, you can give to the Owls Fund, directly to the Owls Fund, and bypass my challenge, which is okay. So that way you're off the hook.
Well, but
I think personally, going back to what Chuck said about the bottom 5 teams, if we're always looking for people for these shows.
Has the tennis team been on yet?
No.
Correct.
See, they're 2 of the bottom 5.
Well, and there you go. And maybe, maybe sending them $50 gets us some of that.
See that, and they speak Bulgarian, so.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I got a translator.
They have cute Bulgarian twins.
Well, we're giving them all our money. All of our money.
Hey, that changed the whole. Hey,
I don't know what.
they may become the new favorite.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jimmy. We'll see you soon.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. You guys have a good rest of your night. Good luck on the next show.
Huh?
Good luck on the next show.
Oh, thanks. Come over. Hey, you're just across the street. Come watch it. It should be a fun show. All right. So I saw you at 90,000 earlier. Where are you now?
We're at 140,000.
Beautiful.
Are you up to 100?
Whole program, 1,089 donors.
1,000.
So we really need Chuck to give it since he's an alumni. That's what they really want is alumni
Really?
giving. Yeah.
Well, we can give it in Chuck's name. If that helps.
We'll give $250 wherever you think it needs to go best.
But, yeah, I don't know. You know better on where it
I
needs
think
to
I
go.
would give it. I don't know. Who's been most agreeable to come on? Track. I would give it to them.
But we've given a lot to them.
Yeah.
And I'm not arguing the point
football's
that we
gonna be
should give
on.
it to them.
I don't know. Maybe you ought to give it football since they're going to be the Jerry Mack show.
That was another thing. And then
Well, we
we
talked about maybe giving them a big check on the first show and doing something different now.
Yeah.
We should probably pick someone we haven't given to before, and who, like as you said, we're going to give more football.
My personal favorite would be women's golf, but I like Erin, but she's leaving.
and
We just
neither
gave
here
her
nor there. We just
$500
gave them
too.
$500 not too long ago.
So okay.
I was going to say it needs to be someone we haven't given to.
How about cheerleaders?
Unless we're going to
Spirit program.
These two have been wanting to give stuff to the cheerleaders for a long time.
And now you're in more of a position to do that.
Touche.
What does that mean?
I don't know, but I'm rolling with it. So,
Sounded like he's a free agent.
I'm almost a free agent. Baseball, I don't know that we've ever given. Tennis, lacrosse, soccer,
Didn't we give to the baseball stadium? The new baseball.
I don't know.
I thought we did 500.
I mean, here's the dollar money. There's 2 challenges: dollars raised, or the other part of it is number of givers.
Mm-hmm. Well, I got a personal email from Francis and from Lucy today. So if it's okay with these guys, 3 guys will cut me a check and I'll give it to them. Is that all right? Since I'm an alumni? Are you all right with that, Robert?
I think can we just do it? 3 guys makes a donation in Chuck Burge's name
Yeah.
and get the match?
Yeah, they're going to want a credit card number or debit card.
Larry's
You can
got
put it
all
in
sorts
Chuck's
of cards.
name, yeah.
He prints cards in his basement when he's bored.
Yeah, I'll give you my card to do it.
Okay.
We don't actually have a debit card for 3 guys. We got a bank account, but I didn't have a card.
Probably a good thing.
But like I said, I'll give them my card and reimburse myself. Don't worry about that part.
This will be confidential too, so the other sports won't know. Not unless you tell them.
Well, we've made a lot of decent-sized donations. I know there's been a $500 donation for the way into the stadium for the track and field people. You know,
That
where
was
they were
$300 on it.
300, and then we did 500 for the girls playing golf out in Arizona. And there's been some rather big ones. You know, this is really small what we're talking about anyway. So.
I don't know if I was y'all. I think I'd still give it to football, since you're going to be the Jerry Mack show.
Well, I thought you said we're going to give another 500.
Yeah, hopefully by the day of that, we can just go ahead and
We have that now.
$500 to the football team on the day of. So, but I don't know.
We'll do a big check, you know, like we always do.
Love the big check. I love the big check.
Why don't you do $250 to the football, Larry? And I'll write a personal check for $50 to the track team.
Okay.
Okay?
Good with me.
You take a check?
Yeah, they will. It won't show up in the totals immediately, but it'll work.
I'm putting a credit card.
Credit card it shows up immediately.
You'll just text me what I need to do.
Go to givingday.kennesaw.edu.
Okay, so was that on that email this morning?
It should be, yeah.
I'll try and do it.
Can you go in on your phone and do it?
I've never done that on my phone in my life.
You've never done it?
I've
All
never
right.
paid anything over my phone.
All right, well, I'm going to do it over my phone.
That's fine.
All right. Giving Day. And you want to do 250 to what?
No, this is 50. This is on my personal.
Okay.
I'll do the 250.
To track and field.
So we're donating 300.
And you want to go to track?
Yeah.
You care if it's women's track or men's track?
Women. That way they'll feel bad for not responding to my email.
What's your email, Chuck?
chuck.birch@gmail.com.
Billing address, first name, is it Chuck or Charles?
On my card,
Yeah.
Charles. M. Burge.
What's your address for that card? Your home address?
1642 Woodsford Road. Like Tiger Woods and the car Ford, but all one word. Northwest.
Woods Ford, F-O-R-D?
Yeah, W-O-O-D-S.
That's
F-O-R-D.
one word. What street? Is it an Avenue Street?
Road.
What?
Road.
Road? Is that Kennesaw?
Mm-hmm. 30152.
What's your telephone?
770-428-9930.
You were a KSU alumnus. No.
Obvious alumnus.
No. Yeah.
on my obvious alumnus shirt. Grace out to dinner with Sandy?
No. Grace enjoys her Wednesday night at home. She hosts a big Bible study in our house every Wednesday morning. About 30 people.
Thank you, sir.
So she enjoys her night off on Wednesdays. All right, you're done, Chuck. Put your card up. I'm going to put his card right here under the phone.
So how you been?
Been all right. How about you?
All right.
Let's see. Go back into Giving Day. Yeah, that was a long day.
With the 7th pick of the 2025 NFL Draft, Eric Eads will pick for the New York Jets.
Any update on the intern that didn't show?
So he just texted. First time I've talked to him, he said, well, here. That way, if you don't like what I replied to him, you can tell me what I should say next time. I mean, he's a high school senior who's got a job already somewhere, so, you know.
Yeah, if he can adjust the schedule, that would be great.
Right. And if not, we're not holding our breath, you know. So we're still looking, you know, until he shows up and mans the position. We're still in need, right?
Like I said, I'm hoping, and I was hoping to be able to get this TV today, but I think their system's messed up. Because even when I tried to take it off my thing, because it didn't work, and put it on something else, I still get the same error message. And Sean says they've been having trouble with it.
He was talking about that earlier when.
Yeah, with the sound and stuff. So I can't tell if my system's not, why it's not working. But as I said, when I need a second person to start to do.
Well, no, absolutely, absolutely. With the 5th pick of the 2025 NFL Draft, Tyson Scragg will pick number 5.
Hey, Dalton State's
for
having
the
an open
Jacksonville
tryout for
Jaguars.
basketball if any of y'all want to go Saturday.
Who is?
Dalton State.
Maybe we get the Burge on there. I'm thinking my days have passed.
He's got some eligibility.
Of course,
course, you will have to enroll in school and actually take classes.
Details. Tell him I'll give Chuck a $25 NIL contract.
Mine was fine. Period. Are you on the bus? Question mark. Here you go, Sean. Good video a buddy just sent me. Arguing, but watch the umpire gets in position, point, go ahead and throw that pitch. Strike one. And then when that next guy comes in ready to swing a bat at, oh my God, what the hell? And there it is. Yeah, it's an old, they haven't seen each other in a little while.
I still think the best fight video though is last season, the Jersey Devils and Rangers.
Right.
Apparently the game before Matt Rempe from the Rangers hit one of the guys on the Devils and no penalty was called. It was determined later, yeah, it was a clean hit, but
right. Don't tell that to the other clubhouse.
Yeah, the Devils felt some kind of way about it, and they had their enforcer following Rempe around the entire game, and Rempe wouldn't fight.
Right.
So 2 weeks later, they played again. And on the opening face-off, Matt Rempe went up to take the face-off, and the enforcer was across from him. Leaned down, and the enforcer looks up and goes, "Hey, you know we're doing this, right?" He goes, yeah, I figured. The puck hit the ice. Half a second
And
later,
still sitting there.
10 sets of gloves hit the ice. And just everybody started beating the hell out of each other. First, second, and a half of the game, 122 penalty minutes were assessed with 9 game misconducts.
It's like it's like the Canada USA game, this year. Yeah.
Well, don't ruin our national anthem.
I mean, when I used to go watch live hockey, you were there for the fights as much as the game.
It was more like you went to a fight and a hockey game broke out instead of the opposite. A Donnybrook. Always like that expression. Get my.
Josiah should be here soon, shouldn't he?
Could be.
Nothing else, I watched some Chuck Cherry shirts. You were about to write. Come the fall, I need to be wearing a staff shirt or something at least. Somebody would say Jerry Mack show on this.
Friend of the show.
Whatever we decide, but instead of, I think we need to all.
No, you're absolutely right. Absolutely. I don't know. I walked around so I wouldn't have to go over this. Tonight we're at, is it Richmond? No. Love it. Yeah, exactly. But they played Lasser. She's like, oh, we're playing Lasser. I said, that's where I went. I said, they probably don't have a very good team. They're playing upper class, so they should be good at polo and lacrosse. But she looked it up and she was like, they are 7th in the country. Number 2. Oh, good luck.
Love it is?
No, Lasser. The Love it, I think she looked it up and agreed with it last night. We're like 15 and 3, so. Yeah.
to pull up composite schedule.
Well, I did. You know, it was working and I switched from my thing over to it. But I could never get a connection. But my computer was showing I had a connection. Because my computer does, you know, multiple screens. And I can see on my computer it was trying to pick that up as my main screen. It's close. And like I said, it seemed to work at home, and then I got here, and then this happened. And then when I switched it back, it never went back.
Hey, Larry, I need some help here. Oh, never mind. I think I got it. I think I got it. Okay, I got it.
I'll show you one picture. It's everything I know about huckleberries.
Okay, I donated $250 to the general fund.
We did the general one.
Yeah. Adam gone for good?
He texted me and said he had something to do tonight and he wasn't going to show up. He texted me about 5 o'clock.
Because, I mean, he leaves in May, right? So we've only got a couple weeks left.
I can't come to the show. I have to work on a group project this week. At 5, right, exactly at 5 o'clock.
I mean, I'm counting the weeks till he's gone, but
Yeah.
I look at it, we only have 2 or 3 left.
Yeah.
see that kid from Florida that didn't go to the combine but is up for the draft? He's 400 and some odd pounds, more heavier than anything else. Has a vertical leap of 20 inches. Can you imagine being that heavy, being able to jump that high?
That's a lot of pounds.
No. And, 20 inches is not very high by, usually when they're doing things like that, it's a 40 inch, it's a 30. But being 400 and jumping 20.
Yeah. I'm
pretty freaking impressive.
I couldn't come close to that, and I'm nowhere near the
Absolutely.
way. And
Absolutely.
then I think his 40-yard dash was less than 6 seconds. And at 400 pounds, that's pretty
fast
good.
for somebody.
Yeah. Momentum starts.
Yeah.
Well, you look at.
Here comes the man. He got somebody with him.
Said the biggest guy in
How
the
are you,
NFL
sir?
the biggest guy in the NFL right now is 380, and he's like 440.
How big was Refrigerator Perry in 1985?
Yeah, he's
6'2", 335. We thought he was huge.
Yeah.
He wasn't huge.
No.
By our own standards now.
Yeah.
What's up, Jose?
How are you guys?
How you doing, Jose? Good. Hey, what's going on?
Man, good.
Good to see you.
Robert, nice to meet you.
Yeah, Coleman's been on before.
You want 2 mics?
We'll bring them on one at a time.
Okay.
Coleman's been on before. Coleman Bennett. Yeah, look him up.
Right there. Richard Seymour.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah. Jim Nance?
Yeah.
Did you?
He, at my wife's church, right? He's good friends with one of her friends at the church, and every time he comes to Atlanta, he stays with them.
Yeah.
And he came and spoke to a men's group
That's
at
cool.
the church, and I went and saw him there.
Yeah.
But he talked about how he and Freddie used to room together, and he called the before he was an announcer and before Freddie won, he called that thousands of times.
Wow.
He said they would play, in their dorm room, and he would call it, and Freddie would be the winner.
Well, I'd love to meet him sometime.
Yeah.
Girl Scout sells cookies in front of a pot shop. She sold 117 boxes in 2 hours.
Sounds like good marketing to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna
Where
say.
should I sell these, Mom? Well, the best place is going to be right there.
A few weeks ago, we were at Reformation downtown Woodstock.
Love that place.
And the Girl Scouts had set up there. They were blowing through boxes of boxes.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't buy any Thin Mints this year. I need some.
I got my, I bought 5 boxes.
We got 1 minute, Larry.
Huh?
We got 1 minute.
I'm a do-si-do kind of guy. I see a box of do-si-dos. I get a little excited.
I'm a Thin Mints guy. Totally.
Yeah, I hate coconut as well, and I've no exceptions on that one yet for me.
That's fine.
7 o'clock in 3 seconds.
7 o'clock, and I want to rock. Want to get a belly full of beer.
My old man is drunker than a barrel full of monkeys, and my old lady, she don't care.
My sister looks cute in her breeches and boots.
A handful of grease in her hair.
Whoa.
And
Don't
that
give
song
me
has.
none of your aggravation.
I love
I've
that
had
song.
it with your discipline.
Oh, we're old.
Get about as oiled as a diesel train. That's one of my favorite lines.
Yeah, that's a great song.
It's a great song. But get about as oiled as a diesel train. There you go. Tell us what you're really thinking.
I loved asking students now if they knew anything about the movie Animal House.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Not a lot of knowledge.
No.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Three Guys Talking About the Owls. It's the Owl Show. Woo! Can I get a big hooty hoo? Got a couple of special guys coming on tonight, Coleman Bennett and Josiah Chenault, talking about the spring football game and what took place a week ago Saturday. We were all there. It was a week ago Saturday, right? Or was it last
2 weeks
Saturday?
ago Saturday.
Yes, it's 2 weeks.
Yeah.
10 days
I was selling
ago.
barbecue. I was thinking like barbecue this past weekend.
Yeah, that's
it was
right. We were
11
at Big
days
Shanty
ago.
this weekend, so we couldn't do
Yeah.
it. So a lot of good stuff going on. My name's Chuck Burge, along with my co-host, Mr. Robert Kennedy. Robert, how are you?
Just glad to be here at Miller's Ale House tonight.
It's a beautiful thing.
It
Got
is.
our good friend, Mr. Carrick Martin, with us. Hey, Carrick, happy Easter.
Thank you. Happy Easter to y'all.
Yeah, I'll be going walking up to the sunrise service at Kennesaw Mountain.
God bless you.
Here, Ike Reichert doing his little Easter sermon. I love going up there, walk up there. Every year they
He's a
had
great
it.
preacher.
He's a good dude.
I'm not trying to sound like a Eisenhower supporter from the 50s, but I like Ike.
You like Ike?
Yeah.
Yeah. Ike's a good dude.
Good line there, Robert.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, I like Ike. Yeah. Unfortunately, Marlon comes with him, but other than that, it's
Hey, you know,
you got to take the good with the bad.
With Marlon, you know, it was funny. I was giving him grief this weekend, and we had such beautiful weather for the Big Shanty Festival. And I said, Marlon, did you bring this? And he said, no. I was actually told that I was not allowed to pray for weather anymore.
Yeah.
Every time he prays for weather, it all goes sideways. So,
Yeah.
so he left that up to other people this year.
I saw some lady carrying a sign that says "We love Marlon." I said, I wonder what he paid her to carry that
Yeah.
sign. Yeah.
Did you see the T-shirts?
No, it wasn't Libby.
Did you see the T-shirts?
No.
Because he always talks about the millions and millions of
Millions, yeah.
people.
Yeah.
So there was people wearing T-shirts down there. Part of Marlon's millions and millions.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, they didn't do the parade this year at the Big Shanty.
They did not.
Because of spring break. That's what I heard. Like too many students that usually march in the band on spring break.
I had just heard there wasn't as much interest, but your explanation makes a little more sense.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So today is April 16th, and it's a very important day in the realm and the world of KSU. Karis, tell us all about it.
Well, as president of the Alumni Association, it's Giving Day, which will end at 5 o'clock tomorrow. That's actually 2 days, but just so you know. But today was the big day of emphasis. There are 21 hours and 56 minutes left, and so far we have raised $144,766.
And
Can we get an applause for that, Larry? That's that. There you go. And we actually gave some of that, and I gave a little bit personally.
Yes.
Love my what does it
T-shirt.
say? Obvious alumni.
A new way to be told
KSU.
you're old.
Yeah.
It's not-
Yeah. I'm not currently in school at KSU.
Yeah.
So very happy that you seem very pleased with that amount.
We're very pleased because, we have a goal of raising dollars, and it looks like we're going to hit our dollar goal. And
Was it 150?
that was our minimum goal, but
Okay.
max goal is 250. So we
So
may
we got
make
some
that.
stuff coming in, right?
So
Yeah.
where are we at right now?
We're at $144,791.
With a day left.
Yes.
Nice.
So
Wow,
and,
you're going to pitch in the rest?
and we
Might.
have
Me and Larry are talking about, selling some Van Goghs or something. And
Yeah, man, that would be great. We'd take it. So the other part of a goal that we have is to get number of donors, and we have 1,126 donors so far, separate donors. You can go to the webpage at givingday.kennesaw.edu. The interesting thing is we have many, many matches set up. You can find a match for KSU and SPSU alumni. Athletics, which I'm involved with, Student Affairs, Bagwell College, Coles College, the Gear Family, College of the Arts, the Graduate College, Ray Dow Journeys, Honors College, special initiatives. And, if we get 121 more alumni donors, we will unlock $10,000 from the Alumni Association that will go to scholarships.
So all my friends that are out there that are Kennesaw Junior College graduates, even $50 will help.
Yes, it does, because it's two ways, dollars, and we get to do one more tick mark of people. So athletics has two challenges. One of them is based on the number of dollars. So the three teams that each raise the most money will each get a $500 bonus. So
awesome.
So far, right now, men's basketball leads with $1,775. Women's golf, with all the 6 players on that team, is second with $1,125.
Beautiful. Congratulations, girls.
And women's volleyball is $750. Baseball is $90 behind at $660. So the other challenge is number of donors. So in this case, the single team with the most donors, which will get $1,000. Right now, baseball is leading with 15 donors.
Wow.
So the second place is men basketball with 8. So they got some work to do. So, but there are also dozens of other opportunities for matches and challenges, and I would encourage you to go to givingday.kennesaw.edu.
That's givingday.kennesaw.edu.
It'll make me happy.
And that's what I live my life for. Is making Carrick happy.
Yes.
But there's certain people, when they're your moral compass or whatever, you're like, hey, if it makes that guy happy, then it's probably a good thing. And with you, Mr. Martin, I believe that firmly.
Well, thank you. We have a very dedicated alumni and constituent engagement staff. We sat in the war room this afternoon and called people that make gifts and called people to make gifts, and very successful day.
And Lucy Fraser and Francis Bush, I got your emails, so thank you for thinking of me. And go Owls. I love my Owls. So very happy to be a part of this.
Yes.
Yeah. Robert, we didn't even do the Ron Smith commercial before we got going in.
No, but it's okay. We had Carrick Martin.
Yeah, but we need to go ahead and get it out of the way.
Yeah.
Don't leave yet.
Making preparations for when you're not around anymore is not easy. Nobody likes to think about their own mortality, and we could talk about it next week. Doesn't always fit into the big picture, and that's why you should contact our friend Ron Smith at Senior Life Insurance. Whether you're being buried or cremated, costs keep going up, but you can lock in a price today and take this final expense off your to-do list. Do your loved ones a favor and take care of your final expense so that when your time does come knocking, they won't have to worry about it. If you're age 1 to 85, which both of you gentlemen are, correct?
Yes.
Somewhere in the middle.
They have a plan ready for you.
Closer to one number than the other.
That's what I said on the 5 o'clock.
Man, that's like parrots over here. Let me tell you, they have a plan ready for you. So please contact Ron and his team at 440-561-0758. That's right, 440-561-0758.
And we thank you, Ron Smith, for being a sponsor of the Owls Show here at 7 o'clock. Speaking of the women's golf team, they're playing in the Conference USA Championships today in St. Augustine.
Yes.
Do we know how they're doing?
The tournament is over, and they're not going to the NCAA tournament.
They did not make it to the tournament.
They did not make it.
Well, that's too bad. So this is the end of Erin's run?
Correct. Erin will be through with her job on April 30th. She will be greatly missed.
Sorely missed.
I will say that she is one of the best coaches at engaging and contacting alumni that I've seen. We have a lot of great coaches, and a lot of people do a good job, but Erin was over the top, and I give her really high grades.
Her being gone will be a thorn in our sides.
Yes, very much, and that's a very good play on
Sorry
words.
for that.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty good.
It was very good.
No,
yeah. We'd love to get Erin back on before she leaves, if you could ask her about that. We'd love to have her and wish her well.
She's been a great friend to the show. And
a friend of the show?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And, what she's been able to do there with the women's golf team is is mind-boggling.
Yep.
Recruiting all over the globe and
Yep.
and a lot of success. A
Yes.
lot of success.
So best wishes to Aaron. Like I said, we'd love to have you on back before you head back to the frozen north. What is it? The frozen tundra? No, it's Green Bay.
Take
But-
off, eh?
Hey,
Yeah.
take off before
Looks
you
like
take off.
snow.
Eh? Yeah. So something else is going on. We signed a couple of football players this week.
Yeah, it's been a busy week. A lot of our players have entered the portal since spring practice is over, and the coaching staff has been recruiting a lot of players. I think the portal ends pretty soon. So
It starts today. It's 9 days from today.
yeah, so
Yeah.
at that 9 days it'll be over, and so they're going hard. I saw Coach Petway today when I was on the campus green. He's still looking at people from the portal. Coach Blue had a recruit on campus, and you're not supposed to talk to a recruit, so I didn't. I just talked to Coach Blue. So,
Well, we promised Coach Mr. Kershaw, Mike, whatever we call him, that
All
we
of the
wouldn't
above.
touch him for the next 17 days,
Yes.
starting last Wednesday.
yes,
But,
it is very. They are big boys they're recruiting, kind of like Josiah. So,
Yeah.
probably not as nice as Josiah though.
I don't know anybody's as nice as Josiah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Other than he can't hear very well.
Well, it's
But,
okay.
yeah. But we're going to get Garrett on here in just a minute to talk
All right.
about baseball because baseball's going really well.
Yes, it is.
But while we recruit baseball or recruit Garrett over, let's do our next two commercials, Robert, if we could. Thank you, Garrett.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Joshua Smith and his wife Tammy are both graduates of Kennesaw State College. He's been practicing law for 24 years, specializing in sports and entertainment law, while continuing in criminal defense, civil litigation, juvenile and personal injury, and he's ready to represent you all the way from your small town to the Supreme Court and any appellate court in between. With all the new rules regarding NIL and cash payments to athletes, they are placing a new emphasis on Kennesaw State University student athletics to help our student athletes better navigate some of the bigger issues that have tripped up so many. Give them a call tomorrow at 706-217-2095. Yeah, that's right, Chuck, the big one on the screen, 706-217-2095.
There are a lot of places to get your oil changed in the Kennesaw area, but if you're looking for a personal experience, then stop in at Castrol Kennesaw Express Lube or Lost Mountain Express Lube. We'll always do our very best to get you in and out quickly, safely, and without a whole lot of fuss. We're a true owner-operated business where you'll find Brian under a car or hood at one of the shops. We offer experienced, knowledgeable technicians and the latest computer software to help you maintain your new car warranty and keep your bride joy running for the next 100,000 miles. We proudly offer
Castrol products.
And Brian, let me know when you're back in Kennesaw. I need some brakes. I need to come see you. Welcome back, a good friend of the show, Mr. Garrett Brackett. What's up, Bring it on, baby. So, Garrett, I understand that you're now not just a big fan, but you're also a umpire agitator. Can you tell us all about that, please?
Why do we have to start
Hold
there?
on. I just want to say that I've known this gentleman for a little while now, and I have a feeling that he's always been that.
Yeah.
That's not a new thing.
No,
You took it to a new level?
no,
No, we
in
just
order
talked
for
about
me
it.
to get thrown out last night, it would have had to be the old Garrett. The old Garrett's dead.
Okay.
We put that sports fanatic asleep. Hopefully.
Tell us a little bit.
No, last night, we had a batter up, and it was 3-1 count. Pitch came high, and it came towards the batter.
And it was obviously ball 4.
It was obviously ball 4, and he leaned back, and it hit him in the upper elbow and arm, and the umpire called him for obstructing the
Not moving out of the way
not
of the
moving
ball.
out of the way, or no, leaning in.
Intentionally being hit by the
Yeah,
ball.
intentionally being hit. I'm like, who
Which
would intentionally be hit on ball 4?
I think only 0.00001 people would have the mentality to be able to stay in there because it's
Right, the ball's coming at you
Absolutely.
at 80 miles plus per hour.
Absolutely.
It was the dumbest call in the world, and the problem is, I'm sorry.
It was what it was.
It was the dumbest call in the world, and but I'm just a fan. I
But
don't
that
get paid
being
to be
said, the
there.
baseball team is playing really well.
Well, they still won that game, thankfully. And
Yeah. They played West Georgia Wolves, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. So it was an amazing game. They started off killing us in the first inning.
Yeah.
And we came back with 1 run, and then they came back at the second inning with a run and just wiped that out. And then we just kept. Our hitting is on par right now.
Yeah,
pitching is picking up.
I keep getting like updates on Instagram, and it seems like we've won 6 or 7 games in a row. Is that right?
We swept the last weekend.
Yeah.
That was amazing. Harry Kane is doing an amazing job. Bo Rudy came in yesterday. Tough start, but, you know.
And we have been declared the toughest schedule in all of college baseball.
Yeah, Coach Coe has always strived for tough schedule, high RPI. He really wants to stretch these guys out.
Robert's looking at the record over there. What are we, Robert?
The record isn't very good, but the record comes from us playing such a difficult schedule to start the year. And as you said, we're on a good roll now. Right now, we're 17-19 overall, 7-5 in the conference play, and we've won 4 in a row. But it's just like people talk about, especially with college basketball. You schedule really tough games, and then when you get into your conference schedule, well, man, these teams don't look nearly as tough as what we've already faced. So,
and we're facing so many injuries that a lot of players are playing through. It's amazing to see how they're playing through. At one point in time, our center fielder couldn't throw,
which is always bad for center fielders.
They would field it, throw it over to Jackson Cirillo, and he would throw it in.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's just how we were operating because we didn't have any other center fielders, right?
You couldn't fill in?
No, I can't. Please,
Put me in, coach.
I probably couldn't throw from first to second. Never mind from outfield to second anymore. I used to catch.
Did you?
Yeah, I was an all-star in 1986. Think back that far.
Wow.
Yeah.
I try not to.
Yeah, we won the 3-game series at Sam Houston. 36-8.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
so.
What is beautiful.
Are we getting close to the Conference USA tournament? Or we've got a few weeks left?
We got FIU, Charlotte, Liberty, the Dogs, New Mexico State, West Georgia again, Dallas Baptist.
So we're probably a month away from Conference USA.
Conference USA starts May 21st. So,
Yep.
So 5 weeks.
Yep. All right. So cool.
And that's in Lynchburg.
Right. I think we're gonna.
It's where?
In Lynchburg.
Liberty. Virginia. At Liberty. Yeah.
And we're headed up there. Our Tuesday trip, I think, is Charlotte, and then we go up to Liberty, which is nice because it kind of breaks up that road trip.
So they're not playing this week. Is it like spring break? Is that why we're not playing this week?
No, we're playing Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
I didn't see it on the schedule. So.
Yeah, we're playing FIU this week.
Yep.
FIU's come to town.
Oh, they're coming to town?
Yep.
FIU is coming to town.
Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
Tomorrow at 6.
I like that song. I might have to go tomorrow.
We actually sounded pretty good together.
Yeah, you guys were like
harmonizing.
Had Larry joined in, I'd have thought it was Crosby, Stills, and Nash.
And then you could have been young.
We do a barbershop.
I'd be the squeaky version of that, so me being Neil Young would be correct.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, yeah.
Just because you can do trivia doesn't mean you can sing it, okay?
Exactly.
That's what I mean. That's why I'm giving myself the worst singer out of it. There's a reason why the guy was only there for an album and a half.
I'd love to have Garrett sing it karaoke, but I know that's not happening. Yeah.
No, I get too nervous.
Yeah. All right. All right. Well, appreciate you updating us on baseball and what's going on.
Sure. And how have you? How has the old stadium been viewed this year? Knowing that we're moving up, but you're currently here. Has it been a fun time for a lot of people?
Oh, this new they did a great job cleaning it up. It's great. It's comfortable. It's the
Are we back?
facilities are
We're
great.
not back in the new.
No, not until next year.
No, we're still in Marietta.
Yeah.
The new stadium is looking pretty good too. I get to see it every Monday night. Yeah. I've seen the progress since they started it, and it's pretty neat.
Larry, are we keeping you awake, buddy? I see you nodding off over there. Oh, he's all right? Okay.
He's good.
I was actually on the baseball field on Monday night, and now they only have the infield blocked off. So you could be in the outfield, which is kind of nice. But
all the sods down and all that stuff?
No sod.
No sod, yeah.
Nope, just grass.
Yeah.
No, you meant turf, right?
Yes.
No turf, just grass.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. All right, cool.
And it will be turf, artificial?
That's a good question.
We don't know for certain?
I bet
we
Carrick
don't know
knows.
for certain. No.
Baseball field going to be turf or sod?
One time they talked turf, but they hadn't started working on it. So
Yep.
We're still up in the air.
Right.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's grass. Grass is so much better.
Yeah.
You know, you can do so many more things with it. If you got a fast team, then you leave the infield a little longer. And if you have a slow team, you make it a little short. You know, just so many variables that you can play.
I never even thought of that.
I met Ed Mangum one time, who was in charge of the Braves, and he told me a little bit about that. That was really cool.
That's interesting.
Well, not to
do
mention,
they really do that though?
Oh,
yeah,
There's no
absolutely.
regulations as
No,
far as
no. So
you can cater it to your own home park and your home team.
So this is how tall the grass is, or maybe it's that tall. Well, that tall, that ball is going to just stop.
Right.
20
In the
feet
infield.
out, and
Yeah.
you know, and the same thing with when you're driving down a road, the center of the road is a high spot, and it's to make sure water runs off.
Sure.
And you usually can't tell that
like-
there
right.
is. Same thing with the baselines.
And same
So
thing in
if you
football, there's a
have
crown
a
of the
fast
football
team, then everything rolls in. To where, you know, you can watch some bunts in Major League Baseball, especially where you're like, you know, it's going to go foul, and the thing never goes foul because it's slightly angled to where you can't notice.
Right.
All sorts of good stuff
That's
when
cool.
you're playing that way.
So before you leave,
Yes, sir.
we'll get your opinion of the spring exercise. I don't know if it was a game or not, but the football.
It was hot. It was hot in that sun. I thought the format of it, considering everything that's going on in college football across the nation with NIL and the transfer portal and everything else, I thought it was a smart move. It was well done. It was different, which was enjoyable. Instead of just seeing the offense beat the daylights out of the defense all day, we only saw that for about 25 minutes.
So I think we asked you this at the tailgate because we broadcast from live out there.
Yes, sir.
About whether you were looking more forward to the speed or the size. Which would you come away more impressed with, the speed or the size?
I was impressed with both, just like I thought it was going to be that way.
Yeah.
The size is still there. The speed and the size together at the same time on the defense is crazy. I feel like I'm watching NFL. I'm not. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, and once again, you know, although some of our viewers might think, okay, Garrett has clearly fallen off his rocker. When you go up a level, and now all of a sudden our talent is up that level,
Right.
There is a clear difference between people who've been watching this team for years and years.
Right.
You can tell they're 4 inches taller and run the 40 in
Sure.
1.5 seconds less.
Yeah.
Sure. Now I haven't seen an NFL game live for 8 years, so you have to understand that is my perspective because all I've seen is Kennesaw football.
And
But
that's
that-
all we
but-
wanted
but
your
that's all we
perspective.
want on this
Yeah.
one.
That's right.
Yeah. So ask Will when you go back over there if he's got any question for these guys. But speaking of speed and size, we're about to have one of each on the show. So let's get
Speed
our
and size.
Which one is which?
yes.
We'll let them decide.
We'll let them decide. But we're going to get our brain train commercial out of the way. Then we're going to have Josiah and Coleman on.
Thanks, Garrett.
All right,
Thanks,
thanks, guys.
Thank you, buddy.
See you soon.
Hey, it's Melissa again with Brain Train Centers. Did you know March is Brain Injury Awareness Month? At Brain Train Centers, we are dedicated to helping anyone who has suffered from a concussion or brain injury. You may not even realize you have been affected by a brain injury because maybe you didn't hit your head. You can injure your brain from a jolt, a fall, or even whiplash. Some symptoms you may experience are memory decline, focus issues, or even bad moods. We could help you heal your brain. All you have to do is come in for a brain assessment at one of our locations and you could see how your brain is functioning. This is your first step to taking back control of your brain's health. Just give us a call or text us at 47...
Here we go. Larry, then you didn't count down to one. You just kind of held 4 and then just dropped your hand. All right. Thank you, Melissa Herget, for being a sponsor of the Owl Show. There's Carrot. He's back. We have with us our starting center on the football team, Mr. Josiah Chenault. Mr. Josiah Chenault. Thank you. I told you, Larry's asleep at the wheel today. I don't know what's going on over there. Take those beers away from Larry.
He's dreaming big things.
There you go, big things. Welcome back, buddy.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
How you feel?
Good. How y'all feeling?
We're feeling good.
We always feel good. How was that spring game for you?
Felt like just another practice, to be honest, but it felt good to have, the fans come out, see what the new offense is going to look like. Talking to Carrick, there was a lot of surprise faces out there when we threw that long pass on the second play of the game. So, just excited for you guys to see what the new offense and new identity is looking like for KSU.
Exciting for us.
It was funny. We were sitting at the 25-yard line, I guess, on the south end zone. Towards the south side, yeah. Okay. And we were watching a lot of the one-on-one drills between offensive and defense line. We were watching you. What's your number? 50?
75.
75, yeah. Have you always had that number?
Yes, sir.
Have you?
Yes, sir.
Is there a reason behind that, or?
I just always liked the number, to be quite honest. I wore 61 my freshman year of high school, and then went straight to 75.
So was there anybody here holding on to 75? Did you have to have any conversations with anybody to ask for it or anything else?
Have to give them a car or anything?
Nah, it was previous talks with Coach Mack before I got here and said that 75 had to be my number, but other than that, no, I don't think anybody had it.
Nice.
That's cool. We had Kershaw on last week, and he told us about what was going on. He said, "Don't talk to me again for 17 days because we're toast." He said, "We're under the portal for 17 days, making phone calls and all that stuff." So
just opened up today, so
I got 9 days, right? Yeah.
So you had talked about, I think every time you've come on, but looking for a higher level of competition, and have you felt that through the spring game and through spring practices?
With certain guys, I think so. Yeah,
absolutely.
Obviously, it's still KSU is still going through the transition from the FCS to the FBS level.
Absolutely.
So, them still bringing in guys who played FBS ball or who can play FBS ball. Going against guys like Adam Watkins, who was previously a Tylon, Marcus Patterson, guys that we brought in through the portal. Those guys have given me some really good work, going at it throughout practice.
Nice.
So, do players ever recommend to the coaches, "Hey, dude, I played against this guy. You ought to bring him in or take a look at him"? Do they ever ask your opinions on stuff like that?
Not so much, to be quite honest. They really don't ask for our opinion unless it's a guy that we really know or went to high school with or played with this guy. Not really asking us our opinion.
So if they're looking at somebody, they may come to you and say, "Hey, we're looking at so and so," but they don't say, "Hey, who should we call at Howard?"
Yeah, for sure. They definitely don't ask.
So let me ask you this: since you've played football at many different levels over your career so far, how many times have you looked, because once again, you're always going against the D linemen on your team, so how many times have you thought, Coach ain't starting the right guy? I mean, high school or anywhere else. I mean, have you seen and felt that before where Johnny's getting the start and you're like, Travis is way better?
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely been some times throughout high school where the wrong guy was not, on the field. So, not really throughout college though. I feel like the guys who need to be on the field are
there
on the field because they get.
That's probably a smart thing to say right now.
Oh, it's brilliant.
These coaches
even for his last coaching staff appreciates that nod.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
A high school football coach wasn't crazy about it, but no, it's a real thing, and it's hard to discover who's the most talented until you're out there.
Yeah, for sure. You're getting paid the big bucks when you get to college, so you better be putting the right guys on the field.
That's true.
Yeah. So what are you doing now? I mean, practice is over, but you're still probably doing weights and all that stuff.
Yeah, we had the week off last week. Time to kind of
the whole week.
The whole week. It was lovely. I got to sleep in a lot, so it was good. This week we got back into a little bit of combine training, just kind of working ourselves back up into our mojo a little bit. But now it's more so just getting bigger, stronger, faster, tougher, more disciplined, and then also made some cuts. So it's also about bringing all the guys who are with us right now, bringing us close together, as we go into the season this summer.
So we've picked up some players this week too. Have you met any of the new guys yet?
So they won't be here until this summer. They won't get.
Oh, they won't go until the summer.
Yeah, okay. So we got a couple signees. 2 offensive linemen and I believe a DB. You know, a couple more on the way, but they won't get here until we start summer training.
And when does summer training start?
I believe late May.
Late
I
May.
think we get,
So, okay.
Yeah, we get a good amount of time off in May. Then we'll be back, I think, the last week of May.
And then from that point forward, you're practicing moving towards the start of the regular season?
I believe from we'll probably go about a month and a half, just strength and conditioning, and then later on, maybe July, we'll start OTAs, kind of focusing on the football aspect of it, and start preparing for Wake Forest.
I gotcha. You know, the only reason why I asked that question is I've got a friend who is a junior, my best friend's son, Will, a junior at Greensboro College. Okay. Not UNC Greensboro, but just Greensboro College. Okay. And when he first went there, they had no practices. And I was, you know, it's like you're going to college for the first time, and you're going on August 5th, and the season starts, you know, and you're like, how can you haven't even been, you know, so I know it's different for each program as far as how much you get to practice. Did Howard practice about the same as far as what you'll be doing this year?
Yeah, we practiced about the same amount of time. Actually, we got there a little bit earlier while I was at Howard. I think I got there like the second week of May, and I was there all the way until December. So that was exhausting, but you know, that's just is what it was at Howard University.
And then with the weight training right now, do you have coaches, strength and conditioning coach who's in there talking to you about what he wants out of all his guys?
Absolutely. Right now it's kind of just getting us back into the groove, but you know, they've made it loud and clear, you know, when you're home for those 3 weeks, please do not come back overweight, or it's going to be some repercussions for it. So
everybody's going to run because of you.
Yeah.
Well, you don't want that.
No. You ever gotten the whole team in trouble for anything like that? You know, where everybody's got to do a lap.
Nah, not me.
That's good.
I stay out the way. I stay in the back.
But when you have to run a lap for your other teammate, does everybody give that guy a look?
Oh yeah, it's definitely words being said, but you know, take it on the chin like a man.
Sure.
Just do it. Quit complaining about it.
Get better and move on.
So we've lost 15 players now to the portal.
Is that right? No, you got to ask that guy. I don't know how many we've lost.
Coleman knows.
He's a number cruncher.
No, we'll find out when Coleman gets on. So, do you feel like the offensive line's set? You told me they brought in 2 new guys.
Well, what was your question?
Do you feel like the offensive line is set?
Yeah, I think that the main 5 that went out there during the scrimmage, we were the ones the entire spring football. I feel like we went out there, improved ourselves, got better each and every day. Obviously, in college football, you need depth.
Gotta have
it. Had a couple guys go down, but you know that's part of the game. So, want to have some guys that have some experience under their belt. You know, not so much as developmental guys. So we bringing in some guys who play some college football, bringing them in so they can come in, learn the playbook, and have a chance to play.
Yeah, this might be a repetitive question, but when they bring somebody in, do they let them meet like the other offensive linemen? Or can they even do that?
Yeah. So most of the time when they bring in recruits, they try to surround them around the guys who they're going to be around. If they decide
like their unit or whatever. Yeah.
So if they bring in a running back, they're going to ask Coleman, or they're going to ask some of the other running backs to do it. If they're trying to bring in DBs, they're going to surround them with that position group, or possibly a guy who's if he's from South Florida, they're going to bring somebody that's from the South Florida area around it. So it can go hand in hand, depending on who the player is.
Yeah. Well, now you've been here, 3 months, 4 months?
4 months, yeah.
He's a local now.
You like it?
I love it. I haven't really been out much. I really just been in the room. I really haven't done too much
it's been a pretty, it sounds, you've been here for 4 months. You moved here during Christmas and New Year's break, and you don't know anybody, and then you have since then you've met your entire team, had spring workouts, had a spring game, had your 21st birthday.
Yep.
Oh, you got to take some classes while you're doing all this at the same time. So there's not a ton.
Not much.
The Devil's Workshop, Idle Hands, or whatever it is.
Idle Hands or the Devil's Workshop.
Yeah, you don't have to worry much about that around here.
Nope. don't really have much of a life as a student athlete.
So you said finals are next week?
Yes, sir.
So after finals, do you take summer classes or you off
Yeah,
the summer?
I'll start summer classes right when we get back.
Yeah.
So I'll have 2 of them so I can
But you got 3 weeks off, you said?
3.5, yeah.
Yeah. What are you going to do that 3 weeks? You going somewhere?
Yeah, me and my fiance are going to Jamaica.
Nice. Oh, wow.
Yeah, so we'll be in Jamaica.
How big's your suitcase?
It's going to be pretty hefty.
Is it big enough for Chuck? That's
That's
all
what
he's,
I'm
that's
trying
all
to
he's
figure out.
looking for.
Yeah.
Are there holes poked in it?
I've actually been to Jamaica. Have you ever been there?
I have never been to Jamaica.
It wasn't pleasant when I went. We got on a bus and some guys came up here and said, "You will give to the Police Benevolent Society." It wasn't any option. I said,
Well,
"Oh
you know,
wow, okay."
I'm just going to go on a limb, and not a lot of people walk up to Josiah and tell him what he's going to do.
Yeah, and then I wasn't 212. I was probably 180 or whatever. Right? Yeah. But what part are you going to? Are you going to like a resort or?
Montego Bay.
Oh, yeah.
I've been to Montego Bay. Great song, Bobby Blue. You know that song?
Absolutely.
That's a great song. Do you know the song?
Absolutely not.
You need to go listen to it. Montego Bay, Bobby Bloom. It's a great song.
Well, it was also mentioned in the Beach Boys hit.
Aruba, Jamaica. Yeah, that one.
That one.
Yeah. Montego Bay is a pretty place. We did go there. Ocho Rios is where we stayed, but
Okay.
went to a place called Jamaica, Jamaica. At the time, my wife was working for Eastern, and we got a free trip down there. And other than her being there, it was fantastic.
Yeah, he's talking about a bunch of things that don't exist anymore. Eastern Airlines, his wife, all sorts of things.
Well, she still exists.
Oh,
she
there you
just
go.
not exists as my wife.
Let me ask you this question. I think we might have already covered this, but just to be sure, you're a redshirt senior.
No, sir.
Okay, that's what it says. Oh no, I'm sorry. I was looking at the wrong person. That's that guy.
Yeah,
I have another question.
He's old.
So you're a redshirt sophomore.
Don't let him talk about you like let's duke it out right here.
So this is your sophomore year coming up,
No, this would be my junior year coming up.
but you'll be a redshirt junior.
Yeah, so I
what
got
is
3
it?
more years.
So
3 more years.
So you do have 3.
Yep.
As
So-
long as that red shirt's there, you get to add one.
Yeah.
And we expect Josiah to be a regular on the show. I don't know if you know or
He
not,
already
but
is.
we are actually going to do the Jerry Mack show.
Yeah.
Every week he's going to be on.
Yeah, good
from
deal.
during football season. So we're going to actually have a live feed up here where people can watch, not only live but on there. And we're going to have a player of the game and coach of the game and all that. So
Good
Coach
deal.
Mack's going to be on the front of the show and the back of the show. So,
Good.
yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah.
It's gonna be fun. But you know, for a guy who's only been in this state for 4 months, you've graced us with your presence many times, and got some other people for us at the same time.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
we
yeah,
greatly
yeah.
appreciate
Oh, no problem.
everything you've done for Owl Nation.
Absolutely.
How's
absolutely.
Dexter's baby doing?
I think she's doing pretty good. We got to see her during the spring game. Him and his lady came up. You know, I seen him at the picnic afterwards. So it
Oh,
was
you
really
had a
nice.
picnic afterwards? What happened at that picnic?
Oh, I don't know. I just got some good barbecue and then went home and took a nap. Yeah, I didn't do too much after that.
Weather wasn't bad during spring practice.
Nah,
huh?
it was just very hot. It was sunny.
Oh, spring.
Afterwards.
Yeah,
during
that
spring
day.
game.
Yeah.
But you're just a lazy guy from Washington D.C. You know, the younger version of you from Florida would have been okay with all
I
that
would've
heat.
been okay. I didn't got spoiled.
Yeah,
now,
yeah,
so.
you got spoiled with all that Washington D.C.
Yeah.
This is what spring's like. Snowflakes everywhere.
Yeah, it's been chilly a lot of mornings here.
It
Yeah.
has. It has.
been. It's been.
Had you rather play in cool weather or hot weather?
That's a good one. I feel like I would be just my Florida roots would tell me that I would rather play in
When
hot
it's hot,
weather.
yeah.
Well,
I feel like in cold weather I feel like you're just so tense. You're just so focused on like getting warmed up.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't know.
And there'd be a huge difference in spring being cold practices or having a warm season and working yourself into the coldness, knowing that season's getting longer.
Which is kind of
and
what
everything.
we'll do here.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So have you ever played in the snow? In a snow game?
I have not played in the snow, but I have played in some extreme weather though.
Some extreme cold weather?
Yeah, extreme cold. I think my last game at Howard, it was close to about 20.
Yeah.
And it was raining too, so that was no fun.
All right, so let me ask this question, because everybody loves to talk about these big bad offensive linemen and who's wearing an undershirt and who isn't wearing. So when it was 20 degrees, was there a conversation between you and your offensive line, like, hey, are we going to freak this other team out by going out there with nothing on, or every man for himself?
No, not me. Not me.
I'm gonna be warm.
Yeah, I'm very much. You can call me a prima donna all you want. I'm wearing a hand warmer. I'm wearing long sleeve. I'm putting Tiger Balm on my body. I'm doing all of it.
You're in front of the heat machine on the bench, right?
Yeah,
so Tiger Balm is like an icy hot.
Yeah,
So-
yeah.
And so you're putting that on just so, even without you thinking about it, you got a little heat happening.
Yeah. So I don't play about that cold. I don't play with it. So I for sure had on an undershirt, a long sleeve, a hand warmer with hot hands, long socks, tights, all of it. The whole nine. it was no. Yeah, I ain't doing no cold if I ain't got to.
I have a feeling by the end of this year, you guys might be playing some cold places, but we'll see.
Well, when you look at some of the places that they're going to play,
Well, they're going to
on a regular
Indiana, but
basis,
it's going to be early in the year.
but New Mexico State, that's a high elevation place that can get rather cold depending on when we visit them or whatever else. So
Yeah.
lots of fun.
Yeah. Well, man, we always appreciate you coming on.
No problem.
When I texted him yesterday, he said, absolutely. So we're always happy to hear that. And we'll get to a couple of commercials, and then we'll get Coleman on here and get his take on the spring game. Thanks, brother.
Yes, sir.
Always good to see you.
Likewise.
Big hand for Josiah.
That November 8th game in Las Cruces that New Mexico State. So they're at like 7,000 feet elevation, so it's cold.
Probably
there.
be like 5 degrees. Wind chill was 30 below.
Don't start freaking my man out.
All right.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
Tired of going to the same old places for the same old thing? American Axis has your solution. Whether you're looking for something new to do before or after the game, the most memorable workouting ever, or just wanting to take something else off your bucket list, American Axis has their 3.5 Atlanta locations waiting for you in Tucker, Marietta, downtown at the Works, and the uber cool new Mobile X experience that can be set up wherever you need. Keep an eye out for them at upcoming events and festivals, and look them up at American Axis, or give a call to 678-763-3635.
How can you reach Dan Fisher?
678-763-3635 to schedule your next adventure.
And thank you, Dan Fisher, for being a sponsor of the Owls Who Live Sports. Are you looking for a ride that's more than just transportation? Experience the revolution in luxury travel with Revere Black Car Service. Whether it's a trip to the airport, corporate travel, weddings, daily commutes, or a ride to a KSU football game, our Black Car Service delivers comfort, style, and reliability. Ride in a premium luxury vehicle with a professional chauffeur dedicated to exceptional service. Enjoy all the amenities while indulging in a first-class experience designed just for you. Whether you're heading to an important meeting, catching a flight, or celebrating a special occasion, Revere Transportation gets you there in style. Join the revolution and book your ride today at RevereRides.com. So thank you also, Travis Loudermilk, for being a sponsor. And now we welcome back Mr. Coleman Bennett. How are you, buddy?
Tremendously blessed. Happy to be back, man.
Always happy to have you. Always welcome. Tell us about your experience, because now you've been here. You came about the same time as Josiah, right? About 4 months ago?
Yes, sir.
So how have things progressed and changed for you?
Things have progressed well. I mean, I really enjoyed everything that's been going on this semester, on the field and off the field. Just academically, class has been smooth, professors been smooth, and then on the field, just enjoying getting to know my teammates, spending time with the coaches, trainers, all the staff, and everything. So it's been a great experience for me.
What classes are you taking?
So I'm getting my master's in public administration.
Okay.
So I have like a fundamentals of public administration class, a budgeting course, a theory course, and then a governmental relations course.
Yeah. And are you done with classes after this? Or are you gonna take classes in the summer and fall too?
Yes, sir. So I'm taking classes in the summer. I'm going abroad as well, and then I'm taking classes in the fall. Then I'll be done with the master's program.
Yeah. Where are you going abroad?
Switzerland, Geneva.
Wow.
Yes, sir.
Hey,
When you go
ask
in there?
he's a big name in Liechtenstein. So you just go right across the border over to Liechtenstein.
All right, I have to ask him after this. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
I'm going there May 9th to the 18th.
Oh, so you just 9 days?
Yes, sir. Just
That'd
a
be great.
quick trip.
Beautiful.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. What a beautiful place. My daughter-in-law is from Romania, which
Okay.
is fairly close, I guess.
Well,
It's all Europe,
yeah,
right?
Europe's not that big. It's like
Yeah.
going from Kansas to Oklahoma or something.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's
I've never
cool.
been.
So you're a South Florida guy.
Yes, sir.
Who spent a lot of time out in Texas.
Yes, sir.
In the humidity of Houston.
And so now, did you know anybody in this area? Had you ever been to this area before you came?
I have been to like the Georgia area. Had like some cousins and an aunt out here, some family friends. So I've been out here, but other than that, no.
No, and just like Josiah, you probably haven't had a lot of free time to go do a billion things as of yet, right?
Nah, not too much free time. Yeah.
That's okay.
Yet.
That's okay. Yet.
Yeah. So you and Josiah, are you guys roommates or?
We're not roommates, but we're good friends. He's like a little brother to me for real.
Well, little in age, because he ain't little any other way. So, give us your interpretation of the spring game or practice or whatever you want to call it, because it was a little different from a fan perspective. Because we're used to seeing 11 on 11 for a full game, and you get there and you guys are running one-on-one drills and you're running the ball, and you got 5 or 6 quarterbacks flinging it all over the field.
Right. I think it was just, giving everybody a chance an opportunity to show what they could do in different aspects of the game, whether it not be like the full 11 on 11, also give people a chance to show their abilities one-on-one, and the 7-on-7 aspect as well. So I think the spring game went well. I think everybody had a chance to showcase their abilities on both sides of the ball, even had some special teams in there. So yeah, I think there's always room for improvement. I think we did take a step this spring, but I think there's a lot of steps that need to be taken before the end of August when that first game comes up. So,
yeah. Boy, it's hard to believe it. August 30th is just around the corner.
Right, man.
4 months and a week. Yeah.
So, what's the coincidence that you guys both came from different teams that had the same mascot?
Yeah, I actually never thought about that. Yeah,
I was just looking at it. It's like Howard and Bucknell are both the Bison.
Yeah, that is a crazy coincidence. But they lucky that they was never on our schedule though, because it would have got rough for the Howard Bisons. Yeah.
I don't know if he liked that look or not.
I think some of the Bison just got thrown under the bus.
Nah, it would have been a good game though. Love the competition, so.
Absolutely. But now you're a South Florida guy as well?
Yes, sir.
So you guys had that in common before you ever met. So
yeah, he from a little, they call it Central, so he's a little up north, but.
Where's he from? Apopka? Is that where you from?
He's from Sanford.
Sanford, that's right. Yeah.
Well, it's funny. I have a daughter who lives in Apollo Beach, just in the Tampa area.
Okay.
And I'll make a mention of, being in South Florida. And every time I say it, everybody looks at me and go, "This isn't South Florida." I'm like, "Yes, it is." Well, I realize it's not the extremist of South Florida.
Right.
But,
Yeah, a lot of people take that to heart, like in South Florida, we claim it like it's like a whole different state, really, in the South. Really.
Now, where are you from, Coleman?
Like the Fort Lauderdale area.
Fort Lauderdale, yeah.
I live in Parkland, Florida now.
Yeah.
Where'd you go to high school?
Connor Gibbons High School.
That's
Fort
absolutely.
Lauderdale.
Yeah. So, what is the coolest place you've ever played?
In high school?
Anytime.
Anytime, anywhere.
I've been in the Army twice. The Army, that atmosphere is pretty crazy with all the cadets and everything. So
I bet.
I would say probably there, honestly.
Now, was that a bus ride from Pennsylvania?
Yes, took the bus there from Pennsylvania, and we played when I was at Rice as well, but we flew though. Yeah,
Thank goodness that happened. That would not have been a good one.
So, but yeah, the atmosphere, I think it's unlike any other, really.
I've heard nothing but that from every person who's ever stepped onto West Point's campus, and I can only imagine as a player pulling up on that campus, it's even more intense.
Yeah, it's different.
Yeah, and I imagine the weather's a lot different at Bucknell than it was at Rice. Houston's the most humid city I've ever been to. In my life.
But now it's okay because you're in the second most humid city in America.
No, Atlanta's not nearly as bad as Houston and New Orleans.
Well, we're probably two.
Yeah.
Houston was bad, but I I enjoyed the heat, though. I really liked the heat, so
Yeah,
it
yeah.
wasn't that bad to me.
So we asked Josiah this. Have you ever played in snow?
I had a couple, like, snow flurries, never, like, pouring
Like a
down
foot of snow or anything? Yeah.
Nothing like that. Thankfully, while I was in Pennsylvania, but yeah, just a little bit. I had a snow practice though, where it was a lot of snow on the field.
Oh,
did you enjoy that?
Regular practices on a Tuesday.
I didn't enjoy that.
It slows you down, doesn't it?
Not at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just takes a minute to warm up, get the body warmed up. So.
Well, I was getting ready to ask you that question though. So, if everybody's frozen solid, is it better to be the running back? Because you actually know where you're going, and they're just kind
They're
of
slipping and sliding and trying to get their footing.
I guess so. I don't. When you first asked that, I was about to say absolutely not, but I'm thinking about. I mean, I would say so. Yeah, if everybody's first, you get a chance to, make your reads, game slow down for you. So that's a good interpretation.
Okay.
Yeah, I always ask this question, Robert. I've talked about it before. On TV, when you watch the game, says, the defense has been on the field forever. The offense has an advantage. But if the defense is on the field forever, then the offense is on the field forever too.
Right.
Is it harder to play defense or offense? To me, it seems like it'd be the same.
I mean, I might be a little.
Did you ever play defense?
Not since like Little League. My high school, we didn't play both ways, so it's been a while. But I think both sides of the ball. I think football is like a difficult sport, so I think it's tough no matter what side of the ball you're on. But yeah, I mean, I agree with what you're saying. Like when they say the defense has been out there a long time, the offense has as well. So it's really who's going to break first. Is the offense going to get tired of the defense? So I think just depending on the situation.
I like the way he thinks.
Yeah, harder for either side of the ball.
There's a decent chance he might be a politician after this master's degree.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Oh, so Indiana's close. I guess it's next. No, it's a state away from Pennsylvania. So probably not a lot of Bucknell fans coming over to Indiana to see you play.
There might. I still keep in contact with a lot of my Bucknell friends, teammates, and I would say they make the trip. I know a couple of my friends. They've gone to some games. Been to some games. They've been local, just a little drive. So I'm sure. Yeah, if I send it out to some of my friends, they'll be more than happy to come, give them some tickets. So just be able to see them again. So
is that pretty easy to do to get tickets?
They usually give us like 4, I think, and then you could get them from your other teammates. So if they don't have
anybody coming,
they can send their tickets over to you. So I mean, you just got to ask early, especially if it's a big game. Like when we go down to FIU, I'll probably ask for a lot of tickets early because I have a lot of family and friends there. So you just got to know who to ask and kind of know, okay, his family from Wayne, Cali.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's from Sanford. You don't want to ask him for his tickets.
He's probably not going to give me none of his tickets.
You're looking for some guy from Illinois or Wisconsin.
Yeah, or some another country or something.
And when do we play FIU? That's
October.
FIU. Yeah, October 21st. It's a Tuesday.
So it will have cooled down a little bit. Not a lot, but it's cooled down. I've been at Christmas in Hollywood, Florida, where my ex-wife was from, when it was 85 degrees.
Oh, yeah.
So it's not really,
yes, sir.
It's not like it's going to be in the 50s or anything.
No, sir. Not down there. Sometimes, the weather's a little bipolar down there, so it might be on that Tuesday, and then the next day it'll be 85 degrees. So.
Yeah.
That's going to be a fun game because we start out with the two big boys to start the year, but then we have 4 straight home games, so that'll be our next road game.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
so
wow.
after the first 2 games, that FIU game will be getting back on.
It'll be
on
the
the
third
plane.
road game.
Yeah, third road game.
Okay. I didn't know that. Okay, that's a nice little setup.
Who are our 4 home games?
The 4 home games in a row will be after Wake and Indiana on the road will be Merrimack at home, Arkansas State
4-0,
then Middle Tennessee
5-0,
and then well, as long as we were 4-0 at that, I'll just go ahead and say Louisiana Tech.
Louisiana Tech, I like that. Yeah.
So
More Bulldogs.
5-0 when you're going out on the road to Miami.
Nice.
That's fun. I'm like so excited about football season. Are you a big pro football fan?
I am. I like to study a lot of pro players, specifically running backs. Just take things from them, just soak it up like a sponge. So.
And who is it you follow closely from a running back perspective?
Anybody you try to emulate because they're your size or anything else?
I'm a big fan of Alvin Kamara. I like his game and how he's able to do a
He's
lot
pretty
of things
decent.
out the backfield. Yeah,
He's a Falcons killer.
I like Alvin Kamara and Jahmyr Gibbs as well. I think he's a great running back.
That
so.
former Georgia Tech boy.
Yeah.
Go Jackets.
Former Tide.
Former time, yeah. I know, but I still think him up as a
Oh,
Jacket.
no, he was a great Tech guy. He
Yeah.
was a great Tech guy.
Yeah.
He was great. I watched those highlights at Georgia Tech. He was nice.
Yeah.
At Georgia Tech.
Yeah, Alabama usually doesn't jump at people from other schools. They're like,
Right.
we got enough. But when Gibbs came
Available.
calling, that was a no-brainer for them.
Do you like it when new kids come to campus, and because now you get to kind of be the guy that say show them around, and
I
when,
do like
when
you
more
mean
running
like-
backs come, yeah.
Oh yes sir. I do like just bringing new people onto the team, onto the campus, being able to show them around. I don't have too much knowledge of this place, just getting here a couple months ago, but I love to be able to just share what I've experienced, the do's, the do nots, pros and cons, just so they have a little bit of bearings when they get on campus, just to help them get settled in quickly and whatnot. Because especially coming in as a freshman, I remember what I was like for me, and it's like, you don't have anybody showing you the ropes or anything like that, you can make a lot of mistakes early on. So
Make it way more difficult than it needs to be.
Right.
So let me ask you this real quick. Talking about new people coming in and helping them out and this. How does adding another running back to the roster, is that self-motivation when you hear that, oh, we got a kid coming in from Washington State next year, do you get excited?
Right, I feel like a little part of me, you always get
Absolutely.
excited, competition coming in, but, I like to just keep things like internal as well. Like, how can I be my best self? Because, once you start like competing, try to, go head to head with somebody else, that could, take away from your game and what you have planned and what you want to do. So I like to, first focus on myself, my mental, my physical abilities, my God-given abilities, and just make sure I'm enhancing those, and then let the rest take care of itself. So,
Iron sharpens iron, man.
Right.
I always like that, yeah.
Well, when you're playing a guy in basketball, it's a little different. You
Right.
guys have the same position, so
Right.
you really can't go against him. So maybe you just kind of watch something and you're like, ooh, I kind of like that move.
Right.
I might try that one later,
Right.
later or something like
Yeah,
that.
and that's another thing too. Be able to learn from them, because even if they're a freshman or if they're a 6-7 year guy, I'm sure they're gonna know something or do something I've never seen before. So being able to learn from them and put that into my game, so in my repertoire.
Let me ask you this question: best player you've played with or against, any level?
Josiah Chenault.
Well, the second best player you've seen at any level.
Yeah, JC, I seen him do some things on the field. Let me think.
Does everybody call him JC?
Yeah, I would say a good amount of people. Yeah, call him JC.
Yeah, he reminds me of the Jim Croce song, men just call him sir.
There you go. Yeah.
Best player I've played with
Or
against.
Just when you see somebody on a field and you're like, wow, that dude's got some game.
I'm trying to think.
I can only imagine you saw a lot of people in high
Yeah, that's
school.
what I'm saying. I've seen a lot of good people in high school. That's a good question.
Well, maybe it's an answer that we'll have to bring you
Get
back
next
for.
time, yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I'll probably say playing like American Heritage. I think I mentioned them last time, but they had a defensive end, Dallas Turner. They had a lot of great players on
Dallas
that
Turner
team.
played for Alabama.
Yes, sir.
We were upset that the Falcons didn't take him last
they
year.
had
Yeah, in the draft, yeah.
Had another DN like Marvin Jones too, so they were nice, man. They was nice. Had some dudes over there.
But when you see somebody like that in high school, you're like, wow,
right,
there's a
at
dude.
such a young age, yeah. So
who's hit you the hardest?
There's this dude when I was in high school. We played Miami Palmetto. His name's Corey Collar. He was at Florida for a minute. I think he transferred like an HBCU, but he played safety, and that's probably the hardest I ever been hit in high school. I was like I think that was my senior year. Hardest I ever been hit was right there, yeah. So
did it make you second guess playing the sport when you're like,
maybe like second guess my pad level a little lower next time. But other than that, yeah, I'd probably say that's it. I have a brother too that's he's 2 years older than me. So we crossed paths a little bit in high school. I feel like he used to just try to tee off for me in practice. So
Sure.
yeah, when I wasn't like running him over, sometimes he'll get some big hits on me. So yeah.
Little family rivalry.
Yeah, something like
I
that.
understand that. I remember Josiah's because, whenever you hear somebody, you went against Jalen Carter. And, when I think you said you were a freshman, he was a senior or something, so you're out on the field, and here's clearly a guy who's going to be a top 10 player in the NFL.
Right.
Holy moly, but when you see him, it's just different.
Well,
man.
next Wednesday night, Josiah, we have our own NFL draft. We have 10 general managers come in on our 5 o'clock show, and they make the picks for what they think the teams are going to do the next night. So if you guys want to come up and hang out for that.
Oh, wow, that'd be nice.
Yeah, it's fun. All right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. You got to go. Dex, thanks, man. Appreciate you coming on, Coleman.
Thank you.
Everybody, big hootie hoo for Coleman.
Hootie hoo!
All right, we've come to the end of our Owl show again this week. Look forward to being back next week. Again, for the 5 o'clock show, it'll be an NFL draft show. Who knows what we got going on for KSU show next week, but we'll come up with something.
KSU show will be covering the first 8 days of the portal.
Yeah, if we have the information. But the following week is when we'll probably get.
Well, we'll get
more
all
info.
the ins and outs, but I'm sure we'll know a name or two.
I'm sure Carrick will know something next week.
That is correct.
All right, guys. Robert, great show as always,
Good
buddy.
show, sir.
Thanks for coming out to Miller's tonight. We look forward to seeing everybody next week. Until then, happy Easter, everybody.
Have a good day, sir.